Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
Woo! Welcome to the Dirt Life Show. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We got a pretty good audience today. We're stoked to have everybody here. Thank you guys all for coming. This is going to be our first live show at the Warfighter Made place, man. The Warfighter headquarters in Temecula, California. We couldn't be more stoked to be here, Rob. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Man, this is the Warfighter Made takeover of the Dirt Life Show. We got all of our friends. We got some significant guests here that I want to introduce. First and foremost, we have combat wounded Vietnam veteran George Earl. He was a United States Marine.
I like his name.
George Earl volunteered for service, went to Vietnam. Did some pretty impactful things, and he is an avid off-road racer, the creator of the Uptight chain tensioner, and we're going to have him on here in a little bit.
Sweet.
Of course, I got my right-hand man, my partner in crime, Danny Navoa, combat wounded Marine, Purple Heart recipient.
All-around good dude.
All-around okay guy. I mean, we don't want to throw it out. Then we also have my brother Mitch Malott, who is a combat wounded single leg amputee medic from the Army. And then right now, looking out, I got my brother Narayan Devone, combat Marine, avid off-roader. He's helped us out significantly here at Warfighter Made. And then we got Chris Van Etten was in the house a little while ago. He probably already snuck out. Combat wounded Marine. We got some surprises coming up for him here pretty soon.
Sweet.
With a build. And my brother Gilly, Rusted Nail. If you guys need any awards, trinkets, you know our the big Warhammer that we give to people that donate significant amounts of money to Warfighter Made. We award them with a donation hammer or the Warhammer, and he's the creator of that. And, yeah, so we're going to kick this thing off. Oh, yeah. And then I got some extra guy over here named Joey D. Like I said in one of my posts, he's been dropping some knowledge bombs and pages dealing with sponsorships, how to make your team better, and so
I feel like he might know a little bit too.
A little bit. He's been in this industry for a little while. He built this one guy's career by the name of Craig Scanlon, Craig's here. I'm trying to get Joey fired. But Craig's in the house.
Thanks for coming, boys.
President of Transamerica Parts. And, of course, we have the infamous little baby C over there who, man, that guy is he's on his own thing right now. So, yeah, we got a great show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thanks for everyone who came to be a part of the live show here in Warfighter Made facility.
Dude, it's so awesome, man. I can't believe all the cool stuff that you guys are doing here, too. So before we thank our sponsors, I wanted to mention a few things. Like yesterday I came here, and you had everybody working. Like, the best part about it is, and we were talking about it earlier before the show, and you and I had a conversation about this too. People they won't come up to me and approach me. They'll see me walking and limping with my leg braces, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're timid. They don't want to give you shit or, treat you normal. And that's not how it works here, man. Everybody.
No, you get it. If you're in this shop, yep. you're going to get it.
Oh, I love that.
I got to backtrack real here. I forgot my girl Amber, Navy vet, who comes here and helps with us a lot, and she's going to be one of my co-dogs at the Mint 400 for the military challenge.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
So I just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah,
so,
we can talk about some of the stuff you guys got going on this year, too. We can talk about the stuff that you guys got going on with 4 Wheel Parts, all the racing, all the events.
Yeah. Yeah,
pretty bitching.
So if you walk through these doors at Warfighter Made, you're going to get it. Don't come here thinking that you're going to get some sympathy or something like that, because we've got zero for you. I mean, our vice president is a combat wounded triple amputee. He's missing both legs above his knee, and he's missing his right arm below.
But he's a bad dude, man.
He's a bad dude. So, yeah, this is not the place to come if you want somebody to kind of hold your hand and coddle you a little bit.
That was the first thing you told me when I walked in the shop today. You're like, how you feeling today? I'm like, today's kind of a bad day. Well, you aren't going to get sympathy from me, dude. Not going to happen. Well, yeah, like I said, thanks for having us, Rob. I really appreciate it. We want to thank all of you guys for coming. We want to thank everybody for joining us on social media. We want to have as much interaction today as possible. So we're going to let everybody comment as much as we can. We're going to try to answer as many comments as possible. You said that you wanted people to chime in and do what?
Well, hit us up. Let us know that you're watching right now. We want to give shout outs, and as we're talking and something intrigues you and you want to know something about it, ask the question. If we see it pop up on the
Facebook
screen,
comments.
On Facebook comments, we're definitely going to try and answer it to the best of our abilities. Just realize that we're on a little bit of a time delay here, so right when you hit send on that doesn't necessarily mean that we're seeing it right away. So just give us a little time to get to it.
Yep.
Everybody that's in the audience right now, food has arrived. Feel free to jump up, grab something to eat, move around. Oh, man, my brothers, Lima, Charlie, How, Me. I got my two brothers in the house. Both are combat veteran, both are Marines, and they're starting a podcast called Lima, Charlie, How, Me. Now, for somebody that's not savvy with communication skills, someone who's not in or maybe not in the military, so when you're communicating on a radio, normally one of the very first things you ask them is, how are you receiving me, right? Can you hear me? And the natural response is, I hear you, Lima Charlie. I hear you loud and clear. How do you hear me? And what this podcast is about, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because it's important, is all of us veterans with invisible injuries, those of us that aren't walking around missing limbs or burnt or whatever, but are going through all of our internal mental issues. These guys are saying, I hear you loud and clear. We're here to listen to your issues. How do you hear me? How are you receiving me?
And I had a little conversation with them about that earlier, man. And it's crazy to talk to people, and I've never been in a combat situation, but clearly I've had my issues. And it's so good to hear somebody who understands.
Right. And that's what this podcast is going to circle around is, they're going to be talking about things that they've gone through, issues that they've had. Guests are going to be talking about it, and the intent is for listeners to pick up on something and, identify with that.
Yeah, relate.
And start learning, different skills on how to deal with some of the issues, some of those invisible wounds.
Well, once they get the podcast started, we'll definitely try to see if we can get them on. We'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll see if we can help them get things going too.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Well, before we start talking to some of the guys, let's get the sponsor plugs out of the way. The first and foremost, we want to thank the guys at Shock Therapy. I think you guys got a couple of razors in here. They got some shock therapy stuff, huh?
Yep, the razor right there, the SEMA, what we call our SEMA razor.
So those guys have been instrumental in this podcast. They've really helped a lot. So you can use the code DIRTLIFE and go to the Shock Therapy website and save a whole bunch of cash, or you can call them and you can get your shocks revalved. You can get one of their ride improvement systems. They just do all kinds of cool stuff, man. Tons of products. You even get cool T-shirts too. So we want to thank the guys at Zollinger Racing Products. They have some really cool stuff happening with us this year. Those guys are just a huge supporter of us as well. We're going to do a giveaway for some Polaris Razor XP Turbo S radius rods coming up next week. So we'll pay attention to social media for that. You can always use the code DIRTLIFE on their website as well, or give them a call, get some stuff. They even sell stuff for snowmobiles too, so they make bitchin' products. We want to thank the guys at Rigid Industries. I'll always, for the rest of my life, have a soft spot in my heart for those guys and Brett Carpenter. Just good dudes. Brett has since moved on to some of the guys over here. that work with Polaris, and so it's pretty cool to see all those transitions happening and to see all the like-minded individuals joining such a great team.
Absolutely.
So, and we want to thank the guys at Solder Weld. The guys at Solder Weld sell the off-road repair kit so you can go out with all your buddies on their therapy rides. And if you guys have an issue, you can fix it on the trail.
Or in our case, we have solder weld kits inside of our race vehicles to keep us going if anything happens. So, yeah.
So thank you very much to those guys. We always want you guys to join us on social media. So please come to the Dirt Life Show on Instagram, Facebook, now Twitter, but I still think Twitter is useless. And go to thedirtlifeshow.com and interact with us. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Get your guys' opinion on the stuff that we're doing. Hopefully you guys tell us we're doing a good job. So thank you guys for both commenting in, Paul Yaw and Mike Gardner.
What up, y'all? Oh, Mike.
So thank you guys.
Come on, Mike.
Thank you guys for chiming in. So what's next, man? It's a Warfighter Takeover.
It's the Warfighter Takeover. So, what Warfighter Made does is we're multifaceted. We originally started by adapting and customizing vehicles for catastrophically wounded warfighters. It kind of came about where some of the issues that I was having with traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, I was working with one of the co-founders of what eventually became one of the co-founders of Warfighter Made, Butch Lynch at Imagineering Shop, and I was very fortunate to have a 1969 Camaro, which I still have today. It was my mom's first car, passed down to me, and I realized when Butch was telling me to do things on my car that the focus that it took not to screw my car up was it relieved me of my triggers and my stressors and so on and so forth. So we decided that we needed to bring that to more people. So catastrophically wounded warfighters, we adapt and customize vehicles for them. Now, if anyone has seen the latest social media on Instagram for Warfighter Made and 4-Wheel Parts, we have now partnered with 4-Wheel Parts, and 4-Wheel Parts at one of their 92 locations nationwide is going to build a vehicle for a catastrophically wounded warfighter that is vetted through Warfighter Made. And everything now is up on Warfighter Made's.
Dude, that sounds really cool.
It's on their, I'm having a TBI moment right now. It's on our website at warfightermade.org. Right on the homepage, you will see the 4WP Warfighter Made signature logo. You click on that. It has all of our introduction videos, and it has all of the requirements for the catastrophically wounded warfighters to apply. If you want to apply on behalf of somebody, that's no problem. We encourage that. Just make sure that they meet all the requirements that you're submitting them for, and you're going to send all those requirements to info@warfightermade.org with the subject line of 4WP.
Sounds pretty simple.
All that information is at warfightermade.org.
Best part about it, somebody's going to get hooked up.
Oh, well, 4 people are going to get hooked up.
Dang.
We've already done the first vehicle for a combat wounded Marine double leg amputee named Carlos Garcia. It was rad.
That video was super cool to see him so happy.
Absolutely, and one of our good friends, he's actually the director of veteran outreach for Warfighter Made. He's got the SoCal Grumpers page on Instagram. He's got the Stormtrooper Dodge with a bunch of Fab 4 stuff all over it, and he took Carlos out on a little 4-wheeling adventure.
Sweet!
It was pretty awesome, so it was great to see that. 4-Wheel Parts hooked him up with some amp research, some Baja Design lights, Method race wheels, BFGs, and
that sounds rad, man.
Icon Vehicle Dynamics, King Shocks. Yeah, it was so cool. So, and I think Carlos said it best, where he's just like, my vehicle, I'm ad-libbing here. My vehicle's, not just a mode of transportation. It's now a part of my therapy. So that's really what we're trying to bring to more people. Please go to the website, click on that link, figure out what it takes. You only got to page through about, it's only about a page long. The rules are relatively simple, and send those applications in. We want to hook up some injured warfighters, and it's nationwide. 4-Wheel Parts has 92 stores nationwide. Let's do this.
Dang, that sounds cool, man.
Yep.
I can't wait to see all those guys so happy, too. You just imagine the smiles on those guys' faces after all that stuff's done.
And that's what's
Such
important
a cool
about it, is for
campaign.
them to get out there and continue to have those smiles with, getting behind that wheel of their vehicle, and we at Warfighter Made with our adaptive vehicle program, we just feel like our cars are extensions of ourselves, and car people, bike people, they get it.
Well, some of these ones, like this Polaris Razor we got behind us and then the Desert Buggy we got behind us, they look almost like just regular vehicles, but they're not. They have some custom stuff for the people that you made them for.
Yep, well, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're really trying to do is it's not just here's a Razor.
Right.
Here's a Razor that we put effort into to make it for you.
What does this one have right here that we got? You said Kendra Garza is the one that
Kendra Garza
was the recipient of that, right?
So the good thing, Kendra Garza is a combat wounded, single leg, left leg amputee above the knee. So fortunately, she doesn't need any adaptations. But Kendra's story is so rad from, just being on the ground, detonating an IED, and just staying in the fight, and then coming home, having coping mechanism or having coping issues to her new life as an amputee, surrounded by people that don't necessarily understand what she's going through,
or never will.
She turned to drugs, which ended up being the worst thing in the world, and she realized that, got herself clean, and now she's giving back to others on a daily basis by doing motivational speaking and stuff like that. When we became aware of her through a combat wounded double leg amputee soldier, it was like, man, this is a no-brainer. I mean, a combat wounded female who is making positive strides, we got to do something rad for her. And now, the intent with this machine here is that it's putting smiles on her face, which is a positive thing, which allows her to go and
the trickle effect for that is huge.
Maintain that positivity.
Yeah, big time.
It's all about positivity.
That's cool, man. So all the people that she's going to touch now, too, she's going to have that much more positivity coming out that she's going to be able to just resonate that with everybody else, too.
Exactly.
And you said she lives in a small town, so she's going to be the hot shot, huh?
She lives in a small town.
That's going to be so rad.
That was one of the things. She was just like, it's everyone around me loves me, but they don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't comprehend what I go through. So
we were talking with the boys earlier about that same thing, man. It's hard it's hard. Everybody has their own issues. You know what I mean? Like if they break their arm, that's how they can relate to it. It's not the same, but that's their relation to it. You want to bring up any of the boys, or you want to talk about a couple more things that Warfighter has going on?
I just want to hit on Warfighter's other. We have 3 other programs, a total of 4, 3 others. We have what we call Adrenaline Therapy Saturday.
Yep.
Adrenaline Therapy Saturday. We have all the dates ready to go. We're going to be doing it at a place in Anza, California called Wrecked Fence Off-Road Park. We have sole use of the track. Everything is kicking off perfectly. I couldn't be more excited about it. And what Adrenaline Therapy Saturday, ATS, is all about is taking vets. If you have your own off-road machine, bring it to the track. We don't care if it's a dirt bike, if it's a quad, if it's a sand rail, if it's a Baja Bug, if it's a side-by-side. It doesn't have to be a Polaris. If it's a 3000 buggy like what we have behind us, if it's a full-on trick truck, bring it. And if you don't have anything like that, then Warfighter Made, we have a fleet of therapy razors from X1000 4-seaters that are set up with our own hand control system. So just about any combat wounded veteran with any injury, we've had quadriplegic incompletes operate this machine. Our own vice president, who's, as I said before, is a combat wounded triple amputee, he's operated this machine, double leg amputees. And if no amputee is operating this, any able-bodied veteran can jump in it and operate it as normal as well.
It sounds so rad, man. I want to definitely try to come out for one of those.
And we want to have you out, and because we need professional racers to come out and give rides to spouses, kids, so on and so forth. Normally we have a professional racer, Matty Wedeking of the PRP Razor. She supports us. Casey Sims supports us. Jacob Peter. Caden Danbury. I mean, so it's really the whole focus is this is supposed to be a family day. Everyone can come out, have fun, bring your spouses. We have things for them to do, sit shotgun, have a ton of fun. So that's what it's all about.
It just sounds like a good time. You know, usually when I'm at the track, it's like full pressure situation. So the reason I wanted to come out was because it just sounds like a good time.
It's an opportunity for you to come, rip, pull over,
have
get
fun.
out, drink some water, relax, whatever. And really, for all the vets, any vets out there watching this or that are going to see this in the future, really what it is I'm suckering you guys in to come in by offering you to drive these high-performance off-road machines, these Polaris Razors on this track. But really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to introduce veterans to other veterans to start creating that network. So, as a lot of us know, isolation is one of the biggest issues that veterans are having with suicide.
Yep.
And if you're mixing alcohol with this isolation, that's a recipe for disaster, and we're over it, So this is an opportunity. Veterans, you've been forewarned. This is an opportunity for us to get you out and get you around other positive vets, which we're getting ready to have a bunch of them up right now. And as a matter of fact, let's get the Lima Charlie How Me guys up here. Let's talk a little bit about what they got going on. And but this is why we're doing it, is to create a network for you guys so you have somebody that you can rely on. Or somebody that you can talk to, or at a minimum,
some of these guys haven't even done it though, so it's going to introduce them to a whole new path. Like, it's crazy to see. Like, I've seen countless times some of the guys that you bring out, like, they're astonished at, first of all, the camaraderie at these different events.
Yeah.
And then second of all, how much the actual adrenaline of these adrenaline therapies kicks in, and the smile on their faces and how pumped up they are afterwards, it's bitching.
And then what they end up doing is they turn around and they get their own off-road machine, and now they're dirt lifers.
Dude,
for
I
life.
love that, man.
So, and that's what it's all about.
The dirt life, changing lives. What's up, boys?
What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Make sure you keep the mic all close to your mouth, so.
All right.
Yeah, you podcasters.
All right, boys.
I got the big mic.
We got the mic.
All right, let's start over here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Will McCoffey, United States Marine veteran. Served with this guy, and CEO and co-founder of Lima Charlie How Me.
And that's going to be a podcast coming up. We can't wait to see that thing start off. So I'm really pumped to actually listen to some of the content. It sounds like you guys have some ideas on the new podcast that's coming up too, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have plenty of ideas.
All right. So let's introduce you two.
All right, my name is Daniel Fiso. I also serve with, I did serve with Will. And, we were there in 3-5 together. And how we met was in Afghanistan.
Well, give a little bit more background to what you guys did in the services and everything too, so that all of our audience knows who you guys are.
Okay, so we were both grunts, and grunts, is infantrymen, and basically, all we did basically every day was train, and run and make sure that your body is in top shape for when you do get deployed.
Before you guys got into that occupation, did you guys have any dirt life in your guys' life growing up?
I didn't. I was in the city, so we had the beach. We went to the beach a lot.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, do it, man.
You said run. Have you seen the size of this dude's legs? First of all, they're bigger than tree trunks. No, these ones right here. And, and they're only about 1.5 feet long. How much running did you really do, man? Exactly.
Twice as much as everybody else because his legs are shorter.
Yep.
Yeah. Every time he stepped down, it broke the ground, with how big his legs are.
That's awesome. Okay, so you guys ended up going obviously into the armed forces. So what did you guys do that for? Did you guys have ambition to do that?
I heard that there was a war that was going on, and I wanted to get in on that. So I went to a recruiter's office, and I didn't think that the Marine Corps had any other jobs. I thought it was just all, infantrymen, grunts,
Same.
all war and all war stuff. We didn't know that. And so as we got in, it was uncomfortable at first because it was a lot of physical, a lot of physical things. And you're just like, man, my body is not used to this. So
Oh, yeah.
after
I think you're giving
years,
yourself a little bit. Like they kick your ass.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yep. And so from there, all you could do is just get better at your job. So, you run with the whole platoon, and then after that, you do your training, and then after everybody gets off of work, just go on a run. And just keep running till you like running.
Man, you keep
that's how
saying
it
this
was.
running thing, man. I'm not seeing
It wasn't me.
Not
Okay,
him. That was me.
himself.
All right, that was for me.
No,
What was your guys' favorite parts of it? Like, did you like the camaraderie? Did you like the actual work? What was some of the top stuff?
Just being around other. I was in the Marine Corps. Being around other Marines, I love just being in the crowd. In that crowd, I felt comfortable, and that's what I get here at Warfighter Made.
Hey, so anybody watching right now, any veterans you want to give a shout out to, we want to shout them out. So go ahead and start sending them out on Facebook, and let us give a couple shout outs to some of the vets that are in your life. Let us know their name and what branch they served in. I want to give some shout outs here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I definitely think we should.
I like to give a shout out to David Ortega, Scoobs, love you, brother. Robert's my mentor. Shout out, brother. And yeah, man, that's what I got.
Yeah, I shout out Jim Prochek. I shout out Miguel Trevino, Laylau. We call him Laylau Smash.
That's right.
And all my brothers are basically the same as Will's.
So anybody out in the audience, you got any vets, any brothers, sisters, moms, dads, grandparents that we want to give a little love to? This is interactive, so you throw. What's his name? Jimmy. Jimmy what? Jimmy.
Come a little closer to the camera too. This one can see all you guys. So come over here and give shouts outs.
Come on in. We want to give some love.
Yeah, definitely.
Jimmy, what years were you in the Marine Corps? What'd you do? Logistics. So you were the one that every time my MREs didn't get there and I was starving, it was your fault. No, it's always somebody else. Jimmy, thank you very much for your service, man. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming here today. Now, do you have any shout-outs? You're not a first-generation veteran in your family, are you? What's your brother's name? Juan? Nice. What was his name? Ignacio. Excellent. What was your favorite part about the Marines?
Yeah, the camaraderie is huge, man.
Without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And what'd you hate most about it while you were in? Man, I hated officers and their stupid ass decisions. That's what I hated. Absolutely.
Man, we had that conversation today.
Absolutely. And thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
And that's one thing about the military that we always say is when like a lot of guys that do their first enlistment, a lot of them, all they talk about is, I can't wait to get out. Yeah. F this, I'm going to go back, I'm going to do whatever. And I'm always telling people, how many, gray hairs that I know that were like, man, I did 4 years in name your branch. I wish I would have stayed in. Yeah. I'd be retired now. I'd have a pension. I still could have done whatever it was that I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think that's really important. So, one thing I want to touch on real quick is Lima Charlie, how me.
Yep.
And what I want to talk about is why. What is the basis? What is the the fire for Lima Charlie How Me?
Well, Daniel was in a tough spot. He came to me at a really, he was spiraling at that time. It was about a year and a half ago. And we noticed that every time we talked, he got better. He started to smile more. He started to be more active. And I was like, man, like we played video games and we're sitting there and we're talking about this. And the idea came up and we were like, dude, at first it kind of came off as a joke. Maybe we're like, oh yeah, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do this. I'm not a public speaker, but
Dude, that's the same way the Dirt Life show started.
I'm not a public. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of hard to do something that that's a challenge for you, but I'm going to take the challenge because I know that it's worked. So dialogue is important.
Let me ask you this, because this might relate to, just normal people, not servicemen, but how much of the stuff that you've learned throughout your occupation makes it easier for that transition? Because there's a lot of people that'll say, I want to start a podcast, but they will never do shit about it. They'll just let it sit in their back of their head. But you guys are actually making the move to do it.
Right.
And he made the move to start Warfighter Made. Right. It's been a shitload of work, and he's doing a fantastic job. A lot of people that don't have the same mindset as you won't make those moves.
I think that when you're in the military, you get all the tools. It's like a 360 security. Like you get like a 5-paragraph order. You can use that to do anything. Write up a business plan, write up your essay, whatever. Right? It's a who, what, when, where, why.
Yep.
And so I was like, dude, we already have the tools. We were taught this in the Marine Corps. So
trained to get after it.
Right. So let's go get it.
Let me interrupt. This is the Warfighter Made takeover of the Dirt Life show.
Dude, I'm trying to relate it to me, man. You guys are badasses. Hey, so we got some shout-outs online.
Yeah, Mike. I see Mike Pascarella. Mike Pascarella is a Navy vet, and he has a organization called Desert Vets Racing. They're on social media, and DVR is inviting all vets to apply to them and at least reach out to them. And they have a couple opportunities where they can put veterans in as co-drivers for desert races in side-by-sides and stuff like that.
Super cool.
Wow. So Mike is throwing out Gary Nolan, Chief Warrant Officer 3. He just left for deployment. And then my girl Amber back there, who's a Navy vet, just threw out Butch Wilfred Arden, U.S. Army. Sorry about that, Butch. And, so let's give some more shout-outs here. People, hit us up.
Yeah, man. Well, that's cool that they're giving shouts-outs to their homies, man. It's really neat. So Mike Pascarella, yeah, all the boys. Yep. Sweet, guys. Thank you so much for throwing shouts-outs.
Shouts-outs.
I like to add the S onto it because it makes it sound a little bit more fun.
It's
yours.
Yep.
Francisco. Francisco. All right, so when we were going to launch Lima Charlie How Me, and we decided to push it back just a little bit because we want to perfect our craft, right? So when are we talking about a launch date now?
So, as we started recording and getting all equipment together, we just had our first recording today, and it came out pretty good. So if it keeps it up like this,
put the mic a little closer.
If it keeps up like this, we'll definitely launch it probably the first Monday of February.
Sweet.
But we encourage everybody to, just look on our website. We'll definitely have a
what is
date,
the website?
A time. The website is Lima Charlie. Charlie was spelled CHARLEY.
Okay.
Howme.com. So if everybody goes ahead and just checks it out, just looks at it, and they'll see the date on when we're going to be coming out with it.
Sweet, man. Maybe tomorrow you guys could send me the links and some information, and I'll post it on the Dirt Life show.
Definitely. Yeah, heck yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And then real quick, Will has been a part of Adrenaline Therapy Saturdays on his quad. And then he also raced on his quad in the Lake Elsinore Grand Prix which is a storied race.
Dude, that race looks fun. Like, I've always wanted to do that race. I kind of want to do it on a dual sport bike, though.
Do it.
It looks gnarly, though, man.
No,
it was fun. And I think the funnest thing about it was kind of messing up and just not caring. You know what I mean? Usually when I mess up, I'm just like, oh.
How crazy is the track, though?
I stalled out right in front of them.
They had a gnarly hairpin within the city.
Oh,
right?
I saw that on the pavement?
On the pavement. It wasn't last year's. It was the 50th anniversary. And they had a gnarly hairpin in there. And this fool in his quad kept coming around this thing in like fifth gear every single time.
It's because I wanted to wave high and I didn't want to go down. I didn't want to downshift.
So all of us, we're all there to support him, and we're screaming at him, downshift, downshift, down. And he's like waving, stalling, whatever. But it was all about the smile, right?
Yeah, it's about the smile, man. You can't come to Warfighter Made and not smile. You're going to smile. You're guaranteed to smile and come back.
Yeah. So which is, and really, the other two things that we do here at Warfighter Made is what we call camaraderie therapy. And that camaraderie therapy is about veterans coming into the shop here and hanging out with us and helping us build a vehicle for a catastrophically wounded warfighter, or helping us maintain our therapy razors, whatever the case may be. But really what it's about is, again, just getting veterans in amongst other veterans, creating that network, creating that support.
Right. Yep.
And when that veteran walks out, the idea is that they now have a couple cell phone numbers of other veterans that they can hit up. If anybody knows me, don't call me, just shoot me a text, please. And they can hit up and just continue on that camaraderie, which is why we call it camaraderie therapy here in Warfighter Made. And then the last thing we do is we work with other like-minded nonprofits to ensure that the veteran gets the best experience possible. I know that not every veteran that walks through these doors is into exactly what Warfighter Made provides. So the idea is that we work with other organizations that do outdoor stuff, that do hunting, that do fishing, that do horse therapy, that do other forms of on-road racing, our family at Vet Motorsports. And, so I want to make sure that those vets have other opportunities, that they walk out of here and they know it's not just what Warfighter Made provides. There's a whole slew of services out there from other veterans that want to give back.
Not everybody's into the off-road stuff, and they can have all kinds of different options.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like me, I'm not into hunting and fishing. That's just not me. I'm a city boy, And when the off-road community was introduced to us by Adam Fitza and Bill Belansky, rest in peace, the whole community just kind of embraced us. And then, we were introduced to Polaris through UTV Wolfpack.
Yep.
I got introduced to Joey D, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
It was really cool seeing that growing of Warfighter Made. I remember when it was the second time you've been out to the track, man, even out here in Lake Elsinore. It was just bitching to see to see it now, how many people you guys are helping. Yeah. Dude, keep it going.
That's what the intent is. So that's what we're trying to do. Is there anything else that you guys want to throw out before I'm dying? I love you two.
Yeah,
but I'm dying to bring George up here because, it's not often that we get a Vietnam veteran in the house. And it's not often that we get a Vietnam veteran that's combat wounded with 3 Purple Hearts. Wow. I told him today that's just the enemy expert marksman badge. and a Vietnam veteran who's combat wounded that has a storied off-road career. Wow. So I'm kind of excited about getting him up here. Anything else you guys want to throw out?
Mind if I ask him a couple questions?
Jesus, George, this is the Warfighter takeover.
I don't know these guys as much as you do. I like to learn about their show.
Yeah, absolutely. This is. I thought you were gonna hit me, dude.
What's up, Jordan?
See, look at
Slug
see,
bug?
No, my wife abuses me, and she's got me all jumpy every time somebody makes erratic movements. No, really, I love you, baby. I hope you're not watching.
What's up, Halima?
Well, the things that I wanted to know were, well, first of all, what made you guys get into the Warfighter Made? Like, what attracted you to Warfighter Made? How did you come across them?
Man, I've been with Warfighter Made since the beginning.
What was your introduction, though?
2015.
I was introduced to Robert, 2015? 2014? Well, I'm not sure. By Vice President Dom Dominguez. So I served with Dominguez, and I was at his house helping him one
And
day.
that was actually before Dom was even a part of Warfighter Made. We were just helping him out.
Right. And I got introduced to him right there at his house, right here in Temecula.
How about you, boss?
You know, I got introduced to Rob and Warfighter Made from Will.
Oh, okay, cool.
About a year and a half ago. And from there, you know, it's been great. It's been great. You know, they took me out to, I believe it's called Glen Helen.
Yep.
Yeah. They took me out to Glen Helen, go get some adrenaline therapy. And
What'd you think?
I thought it was like the best thing.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a gentleman that used to be here, but he moved. But his name is Jesse Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
And you know he has like no fear behind the wheel. He'll make it fly. He'll do whatever just to,
Nice.
just to keep
Double
going.
amputee.
Yeah.
This is double amputee.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jesse's a combat wounded double leg amputee, and absolutely rips on a dirt bike as a double leg amputee, and actually he rips just about anything that he gets behind. And right now he's ripping golf clubs on a full ride scholarship to Arizona State.
Yep.
Yeah.
No way.
No, in Tucson. Which one is in Tucson?
University of Arizona.
University of Arizona.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And
so-
there's a lot of legs that go into golf too. That's insane.
Well,
Dude,
he ain't got
He's
none,
out there
so.
with,
That's my
with Nick Kimmel as well.
that's my
Yeah.
point. Is that's bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just getting some pictures of them. Another brother of ours, Nick Kimmel, who's a triple amputee. He's out there playing golf with them also. So, pretty awesome.
Dude, that is super cool. Well, thanks, boys. I appreciate you guys
Thank you.
coming up.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, brothers.
Well, while we get George up here, I think it'll be really cool if we get some more interaction with everybody on social media. All of the people that have been chiming in, giving shouts-outs to their vets. Shouts-outs.
Shouts-outs.
I think more people should chime in. I would definitely like to say their names and give as many shouts-outs as we can.
I love giving shouts-outs.
So
I actually just got hit up on a text, and my our apparel provider, Motowear International, just hit me up, and Motowear said that the three of us that were sitting up here in our Warfighter Made shirts looked fantastic, but he didn't really think George looked all that great.
yeah, I know. I was gonna ask you for a Warfighter shirt, but I figured I'd be just the same as everybody else, so I figured I might as well
you gotta
look a
gotta
little
set
different since I'm the civilian.
You got to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
That's why we go to Motowear.
Those guys actually do a fantastic job. I was checking out some of the shirts and stuff. Those guys do a really good job. That watch party thing's turning out pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah.
Doing good?
Working out pretty good.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'd love to give you a shout-out. Hit us up on Facebook. Let us know who's watching. And if you got any love for any veterans in your family and you want us to give them a shout-out, please hit us up. So let me get my brother George Earl up here. And again, a little backstory on George. He's old as dirt, and you'll see that as soon as he gets up here. George is a Vietnam veteran. He was a Marine. He was wounded. He is a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I get you. I actually said something in a post one day that, this person was a former Marine. And somebody who wasn't even in the military corrected me. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Always.
My bad. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Well, welcome to the show, Marine.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to have you,
be
George.
here. You bet.
George, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing fantastic?
Yeah.
It's kind of a drive for you to get over here, right?
God, I left at 1 o'clock. Figuring I beat the traffic.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah. No. It was a dead stop. 5 miles an hour.
Did you hear that excitement in Georgie's voice? I mean, his voice went up like 4 octaves
Dude.
right there.
Arizona is like love compared to that, man.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, geez.
California freeways
Yeah,
suck.
SoCal
Suck.
traffic. You got to love it. So, George, I became aware of you through our mutual friend, Admiral Mike Shatinsky.
Uh-huh.
And Mike has an affinity for you because he respects you highly as an off-road racer, and he respects you as a combat wounded Vietnam veteran. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like, kind of starting off what were you doing before you joined the military, why you joined the military, and what do you do now?
Before we get started, I would like my shout out, and people don't know this Marine. His name is Dan Bullock.
Dan Bullock.
Dan Bullock.
Shout out to Dan Bullock.
Yep. Got to look him up.
Dan Bullock.
Yep. He was the youngest 15-year-old Marine killed in action in Vietnam. 15 years old. Joined the Marine Corps at 14. Lied on his birth certificate.
Wow, really?
Yep. He wanted to be. He's that much of a patriot. He wanted to be a Marine. So that's what he did. But
That's just insane, though. Like, when was the actual enlisting age at that point?
when was it?
Yeah, what age did you have to be?
You had to be 17 with your parents' consent.
Okay.
Permission, yeah. Yeah, and 18, so, or 18 without.
Right.
Yeah. So we got a question here from
Mark Shoemaker.
Mark Shoemaker. Do you know Mark Shoemaker?
Mark's a Arizona guy.
Okay. Possible. I've been doing motorcycles and cars for 50 years.
So the question is, ask if the Marines have any CBs. And the question is, or the answer is no. CBs are a Navy unit that are kind of responsible for going in and doing construction that's needed for basically any branch that's in a combat zone. The CBs are kind of responsible for going in there and
making your stuff.
Building roads,
Building
runways,
your showers, your
whatever the case may
hardback
be.
tents.
Louis Henkin said, thanks for all that you guys do for us. And we got another guy over there. Andrew McKenzie said that, what's up, boys?
What up, Andrew McKenzie?
Thank you guys for chiming in.
Andrew's a spouse. His wife is the active duty. She's an active duty Navy corpsman. She's a chief, and our boy Andrew used to volunteer here, helping us make a difference, and then she got orders to Texas, so he moved away. And
Oh, right on.
and our man Danny was really sad to see his work wife leave. So George, getting back to
Getting back to the beginning.
To the beginning. What started it?
Pardon me?
What started it?
What started it?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I did the sports and all that, and then I worked in a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked on gassed and cleaned and washed and waxed the Marine recruiter's car.
Yeah.
And I was an Air Force brat, so I'd been around the world with my family. My dad was in the Air Force for 35 years, and he always kept saying, well, I don't think you can make it. I don't think you can make it anyway. Yeah. So I showed him.
Yeah.
So I joined. Went to boot camp, and that was in 63.
Yeah. Well, you told me an interesting story that prior to that, kind of ripping around on motorcycles and stuff.
Right.
That
So he lived the dirt life?
Well, he lived the dirt life, but it was kind of in a what was your favorite place to ride?
Well, the favorite place to ride this is back, in the 60s when they were building the interstate freeways, across the country. And where my dad was stationed, this little town, Salina, Kansas, they were building the interstates. So we'd go out. We had, the perfect jumps. And back in the day, they didn't really jump that much. It was all flat track.
Yeah.
It's not like it is today by any means. But, so that's what we do. As soon as the crews had shut down in the afternoon, we go out and just tear up what they'd built. So
nice.
That's where we had fun.
That's cool.
Excellent. Yeah.
We did some stuff like that, too. It was obviously a little later, but we had in Yuma, Arizona, one of my buddies lived out there, so we would they have a bunch of canals and things like that, and we would ride down the canals with milk cartons and all that, have some fun stuff, and then we'd take our dirt bikes out, and we would they would have these overpasses or underpasses, whatever you call it, but they would have huge, 4 lanes going across, and we would just jump over the whole thing on our motorcycles. That was so much fun, man. So I feel you.
Yep, that's what we did. So joined the Marine Corps and did all that stuff, and then went to Vietnam, and they shipped me out of there. Went to a casualty company in Okinawa, and it was pretty bad. Everybody's pretty messed up in there. So I got out of there, and they went to a comm replacement battalion where you train guys going south, and the communications gear, taking care of that and shipping it south. Shipping it down to Vietnam.
Right.
And started racing motorcycles over there, and I joined a motorcycle club as the Army Special Forces Motorcycle Club.
What type of motorcycle racing was it?
It was more like flat track and TT.
Yeah.
Kind of before motocross really got started. But,
What were you guys on?
One guy had a Bultaco. The rest of us were on either Suzukis or Hondas or something like that. And I was riding a CL77 Honda.
Nice.
And they would, what was kind of neat about it, they would fly us around the Pacific, go to Guam and a couple other places, and fly around at Caribou, so that was kind of cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right on.
That is super cool. You guys can't do stuff like that nowadays in the
Oh, hell no.
Marines, right?
This was,
Oh, was that frowned upon then too?
Not really, because nobody knew about it.
Oh, okay.
Things were kind of loose.
Things were a little different in the Vietnam era, because you had a lot of guys that were drafted, and
Well, I like hearing those stories because I don't know anything about that.
And the attitude was a little bit different, and so it was a lot looser. And after Vietnam is when things started to get tightened back up.
Gotcha.
And I came in the Marine Corps in '93, and I was just on the tail end of. If there were sergeant majors or senior officers, some of them had served in Vietnam in the early 70s. But, there were very few Vietnam vets. So, one thing about my generation of warfighter is Vietnam veterans got the raw deal. Whether they volunteered or they were drafted, they went and did a job, and they came back to a raw deal. Right. And in my opinion, the reason why my generation of warfighter is treated with respect today, the reason why people come up to us and thank us for our service, the reason why people are buying us drinks in the bars, and really the reason why we get the best medical care that's available to veterans right now is because Vietnam veterans kind of all banded together and said, never again. Yeah. Never again will a group of warfighter be treated the way we were.
Right.
And what's really important is all the vets that are out here now is that now it's important that our generation of warfighter ensures that that gets extended to the generation of warfighter that comes after us. And we have to make sure that they're treated the way that we were, because there can't be another generation of
I feel like that podcast is going to do a lot of the Lima Charlie Howe podcast is going to help with that.
So.
Yeah.
I hope so, because we don't want to see a repeat of that
ever
again. But that was my heavy moment there for a minute. Now I'm back into having
well, it's cool though, because you guys are spreading the message. That you're going to spread the message with Lima Charlie Howe, and he obviously had. He doesn't have social media and the internet and stuff like that back then, but they did a very good job making sure that their message was heard too.
Well, now, yeah, absolutely. And so, George, now taking it back to the dirt life.
Okay.
All right. You were traveling around the Pacific, right?
Yep.
How are you doing against the SF guys?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Any times where you started to fall behind a little bit and you kick them over, or goose the throttle a little bit, let the tire slide out and take out their front?
Didn't really have to.
Come on. Oh, because you were so far ahead of them.
No, it was the bikes. were so bad back in the day. They handle like, you ever get a really bad shopping cart and you try to push it and it just doesn't.
With that wheel.
Oh, they just
that wheel.
Yeah,
it pretty much happens every time. Like, oh, this is gonna be the best one. Nope.
Yeah. So whoever made it to the end, that was a deal. But the bikes, have just evolved. Just tremendous. And
have you gotten out on a dirt bike lately?
Oh, hell yeah! I sell motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I sold Husqvarnas for 50 years, and now I sell Betas.
Oh yeah.
To the Beta brand. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the Austrians bought gas. You hear about that too? Right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
KTM and Husky, they're money. That's all
too.
they care about is money. They're flat ass broke. The only reason they're racing is because of Red Bull and Rockstar.
Oh yeah.
But that's why I sell Betas, because they care. They're a passion-driven company.
Cool.
Family-owned since 1904. Family-run. Debt encumbered to no one. No
Nice.
shareholders, stockholders, banks involved, anything.
So without getting off track on the Warfighter Made takeover, the Dirt Life is going to have a ride across the country in September of this year. We're going to start in Oregon and then in South Carolina. We'd love for you to come.
Dirt bikes?
Yeah, all dirt, the whole way across America, Trans-America Trail.
Well, you guys are doing enduro style, right?
We might do dual sports. But all the regional guys or dealership guys, they can bring a motocross bike, whatever they want. I mean, you can join for 200 miles. You can join for all the 4,000 miles. It doesn't make any difference. It'll be a fun time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
some guys are going to be, injured guys, warfighters, whatever. They'll be in side-by-sides and stuff too. So
Sure.
it's open to the public.
Yeah.
So you're just going to do it in sections, state at a time?
Yeah,
or?
what we're going to do is we're going to qualify it as a ride day, press day, and we're going to stop at the dealerships, and we're going to do a whole bunch of media and activation and stuff. So it'll be pretty cool for everybody to share their stories and to get some people involved all the way across country.
Oh, yeah, well, that'd get a lot of people.
Yeah, I just want everybody to have a good time, man.
Especially if you're going to stay off the freeways.
It's all dirt all the way.
Yeah, there you go.
So it'll be cool.
That way you get to see real America.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I've never done anything like that in my life. I mean, I've traveled and you've traveled to go to races, go to events and stuff like that, but this is a completely different scenario, and I'm so stoked to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part, and I'm sure you can attest to this, the best part about like going to Baja is the fact that it's almost like stepping back into time.
Exactly.
And the people are genuine, they're awesome, they're excited to see you because it's kind of something new to them.
Absolutely.
And
Different.
and traveling middle America or going through those small towns the way that you're doing it is probably going to be the exact same thing. I have a dream of I want to do Route 66 from Purdue to Chicago.
That'd be fun.
With my wife in a car and just
Corvette.
stay true. Probably my Camaro.
Do the Corvette like they used to.
I don't have a Corvette.
Well, get one.
I'm a full-time volunteer. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a full-time volunteer at Warfighter Made. I do this day in and day out for nothing. All right, I'm not buying a Corvette, George.
It was before your time. Route 66. Did you remember that? Oh, it's before your time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I guess I'm a young man. I don't.
Yeah. No, there used to be a show.
I want to get my kids. Oh yeah, no. I remember the show.
Yeah.
I remember the show. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to get a little bit more info on what George's life is all about?
Well, I want to hear about a little bit about the racing after service and
After?
Yeah.
Okay. Like when I came back, I shipped my motorcycle. I got sent to Camp Lejeune, which is basically the armpit of the world. But
Where is that located?
North Carolina.
Oh, real good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and actually, I got to correct you. Now they're the Lejeune family complained that we've been saying it wrong all these years. It's now Lejeune.
Lejeune?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shout out to all the Lejeune people right
Yeah,
now.
sorry, guys.
Sorry, we've been messing that up for like 50 years.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry you're there. But then I got out of the Marine Corps and went to Kansas City and took my motorcycle and I raced a couple flat tracks there. Then I came back to California and then raced motocross, did some of the,
How old were you at this point?
21, I think.
So at that point, he was an old man in motocross.
Old man.
Yeah. But see, that's when motocross is just getting started.
Yeah.
That was back in Jeff Smith days. And
Where did you live? Did you live like Saddleback and stuff like that? What tracks did you?
I lived in Costa Mesa, but I rode a lot of Saddleback.
Okay.
And we used to be able to race 4 days a week out here.
Did you go down to Carlsbad ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
We were talking about that track the other
Saddleback or
day.
Carlsbad, sure. You bet.
I raced the quarter mile. I never did the motocross track, but I got a couple laps on it or a couple passes on the quarter-mile track there.
So the only way that I can relate to the racing that he's done is like I did. I was just 80 expert at the time, but I only got to ride Carlsbad once before they tore it down, and to me that was like operating a jackhammer, not riding a dirt bike. So I can only, and this was a nice little 80 dirt bike in the 90s. I can only imagine how gnarly it was for those guys to ride on those tracks.
Yeah, we didn't think it was bad.
So
I mean, no, it
you're a little sissy like me.
it was what it was, So, but I raced that, and then because it was just like didn't start racing in the minis and coming up through, like nobody knew you. You didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And where these guys, Warfighter Made, where they're doing such a great job, we didn't have that. And it was, you couldn't tell anybody where you were, like where were you a year ago? No, you couldn't even speak about it. Then when people kind of found out and were talking about it, you could always feel, daggers in your back. And so then I quit racing motocross and then started racing desert.
And when you say that, you mean them finding out that you were a serviceman?
Right.
Okay.
What
was the reason behind that then? Like, why would they think bad of that?
Because the country was so turned upside down.
Really?
It was so anti-military, anti-war.
And so that's where you're saying the reason that that things are so much different now is because they wouldn't let that happen any further.
Because Vietnam veterans kind of came together and said, no more.
Way.
They got into public office. You have veteran organizations like the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFWs, the American Legions, that all kind of came together, and they started going out and doing things in the community to basically foster relationships with the communities and just say, hey, we're veterans. We love America.
But that's fucking nuts that he's on the ground and he's seeing this treatment.
It's the way it is, or the way it was.
You get off the plane, the guys get off the plane, whether they flew into El Toro or, I hear at March or any other place, and when they go through the gate, the people standing out there throwing dog crap on them.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, and that's not even half of it. I mean, it was heinous. I mean, it was.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for putting up with all of our bullshit, but that's cool that you guys were able to turn it around and give the opportunity to the newer generation.
Well, that's why I'm so pumped for these guys. What Rod's doing is just incredible.
Absolutely.
It's just incredible. And I kind of, Mike asked me to come out and see if I could kind of do a little mentoring, with some of the guys and stuff. And it's a different deal, and the only thing I can, they've got everything. They just have to go out and do it, but from talking to some of them, it's not what's between your ears, is what's in your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to go from there, and then everything will start to straighten itself out, or hopefully help it straighten it out.
I want to say two things. Blake Vandeloo just hit us up. Blake Vandeloo is a big supporter of Warfighter Made, big supporter of veterans.
Good racer.
Currently on his way to, or will be on his way to King of the Hammers.
Yep.
Former King of the Hammer, and want to see him regain that title. So, Blake, thanks for tuning in. And I wanted to say something that we had George out at a Lucas Oil regional race, racing the Danger Ranger. And
at Glen Helen as well?
At Glen Helen. Okay. And we shared a couple photos of George on our social media, and we got contacted by somebody who said, I served with George.
No shit.
Started giving all these places that they were at. I have lost contact with him since the last time I saw him in Vietnam. How do I reconnect with him?
Yep.
No way.
I sent George all the information, and they reconnected, and just
Dude,
another
that is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Cool opportunity.
How many years had it been since you had talked to them?
I don't know. Everything's 50 years now. So,
Yeah.
Which it probably was 50 years,
Michael Robinson.
Was Michael doing the same? Like, was he on his own path? Like, did he start riding again? Did he do any of the same stuff?
Well, he did when he was down in San Diego, but then he went up to Alaska, was on a fishing boat, doing that kind of stuff, and now he's down in Louisiana. He's down there.
That is so awesome, man.
Yeah, we chat back and forth on Facebook, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I had another guy I hooked up with and hadn't seen him in 50 years, and he and his wife have a restaurant up near Sacramento, but they no longer have it. But I went up there and walked in. I said, I want to see Mark. He's not here. Tell him to get his ass back here. He came back, and then we got pictures. It was cool because the last time I had pictures of the two of us when I was on Okinawa. I took some radio gear back to Vietnam, and then he was on guard duty. He worked. What he did, he fixed the radios. I forget what they.
Man, I wish we had more time. Like, I wish we could just sit around like a campfire, just hanging out and listening to the stories, man. Like,
this will be a good opportunity for Lima Charlie, how me,
dude, big time.
Because if there's a group of vets that basically had to bottle it up for decades, it's Vietnam vets.
Dude, get those Lima Charlie Help Me guys to whatever, FaceTime, get them all together and have all these guys talk stories together. Holy shit.
Absolutely.
That just
That's
campfire
what it's
talk
about.
over that kind of stuff would be so cool.
That's what it's about. Well,
it'll keep you awake.
Well, not me, because you guys bore me sometimes. No, I'm joking. George, thank you very much for coming here. Thanks for being on the Warfighter Made takeover of the Dirt Life show.
We really appreciate it, man.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for leading the way, setting the example for my generation of warfighter to follow. And I promise you that the next generation of warfighter will be treated the way that we were, because I don't want anybody to be treated, disrespected the way that you and your fellow veterans were. So,
yeah, but what you're doing is just phenomenal. It's really, really, really good.
I think the real main thing is I bet you, like, if him and I raced, he could still whoop my ass on a dirt bike.
George?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm pretty confident that I can beat you in a foot race.
Yes, foot race, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
I've only raced 37 Baja 1000, so.
Yeah, see?
37 Baja 1000.
Literally, he makes me feel like a pussy.
Yeah, so it's
like.
So, George, what's the name of your business and where's it located at?
Uptight Husqvarna Beta, and I'm in Santa Ana, California.
Okay.
On Ritchie Street.
And do you have a social media, or do you have a?
I'm too old for that shit. Yeah. So yeah.
What are you talking about? You send me stuff on social media all the time.
That's because I found your old address where somebody sent me something. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
So just call the shop if you want to talk to George.
Goes to Rob. Yeah. Uptight Husqvarna and Beta.
I like the name too.
Yeah, I don't sell Huskies anymore. I just sell Betas, but I just leave the name there.
How are those things now? Are they pretty sweet?
They're phenomenal.
Really?
No, they are phenomenal.
What size motorcycles are they making now?
In the street legal and dual sport.
You can even say the motocross bikes, whatever is the
starting from 125 to 350 to 390 to 430 to 500.
We were having this conversation, me and my buddy Jeff Furrier, the other day, and I really want to ride a 350 to see how those things are.
They're phenomenal.
I really do.
No, they're good. They're good.
Sweet.
They don't break. I haven't had to pull a motor out in 9 years.
No shit?
Never.
Holy cow.
No, they're that good.
Well, I'm going to have to get some more information on those bad boys.
Look them up. They're good.
Thanks so much, George.
You bet. Thank you.
George.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
My friend.
Thank you. You want to have somebody else come up and give a what
are you doing?
Thank you, George. Appreciate it, man. This mic works now if we want to have anybody else come up and give a shout out.
Oh, so anybody in the audience, you want to come up and give a little bit of love to a family member that's a vet, something like that, we have a mic over here. Just come up, put the headset on, put the mic up close to your mouth, and give that shout out. You're also going to be on the TV, and here comes
on the camera.
Girl, Daniela Navoa.
Hey, Daniela Navoa.
We have an amazing thing coming up. It's almost like a documentary, and Daniela is the star of it.
You can scoot back a little bit too. Just keep scooting back. You can pull it, yeah. There you go.
And so Daniela is the daughter of a combat wounded Marine, Danny Navoa, who is my partner in crime. And a few months ago, we got the opportunity to sit down with Daniela and talk about what it's like to be the child of a combat wounded service member. Daniela was
That's actually really interesting.
pretty young. She was young, but completely aware of everything that was going on, and she was taking basically care of her brothers while her mom was going to the hospital and whatnot. And I can't wait for the final touches to be put on this thing, because I think it's really important that we want to start telling the stories of kids and what the kids have gone through dealing with their parents that were deployed or combat wounded. So, Daniela, go ahead.
You might not be able to hear us, but you can still talk.
Okay.
All right.
I was trying to hear you.
You can't hear me right now?
You can just go like
I can hear
this.
you with it on, but I can't hear anything.
You won't be able to hear it. Just talk.
Okay.
So, who are your shout-outs? Give your shout-outs.
My shout out is to my dad, Danny Navoa. He's over there.
Woo!
I love you, Dad. And my other shout outs to my little brothers, Danny and Donovan. They're probably not watching and playing video games, but I still love them.
Well, that's your fault. You need to be hitting them up right now and be
Yeah.
like,
Be like, dude,
phone
hit up
is dead.
Facebook, man.
get a life.
Yep.
I know, right? And then my other shout outs to my dad's girlfriend, Chris. She's
Chris-
in the audience.
So Chris is hitting us up on the Facebook
Oh,
live
is she?
also, yeah. And I'm like, I'm looking at you, Chris. You know,
But I love the interaction, dude. That's exactly what we need. We need as much interaction as possible. Thanks for coming up and giving your shouts outs. You got any more?
To my friend Rochelle, she's here. She came with me. And then lastly to my friend Hallie. I don't know if she's watching or not. She said she would try to. But
You
she's
can
at
throw
work.
her shouts out straight in that camera right there.
Hi. I can't hear myself speak, or I can't hear myself talk. So like.
you're doing fantastic.
Yeah, you're doing
You're
great.
doing good.
Okay.
Well, if they're not watching now, they can listen on iTunes in the next couple of days. And
Yeah.
You
What's
hear that? I'm just
what's the
kidding.
name of that podcast?
it's called The Dirt Life Show.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, so they can listen to Dirt Life Show on iTunes and Spotify, all those. But you can always go to the Dirt Life Show Facebook page and YouTube. So sweet. Thanks for the
Daniela.
shouts outs.
Appreciate it. All right, shouts outs. All right, so continuing the Warfighter Made takeover of the Dirt Life Show. Being interactive in social media and paying attention to stuff and whatnot. There's an individual that's been in the fray probably since the beginning. Basically started a movement on social media that revolved around UTVs and whatnot.
Really? Okay.
And then started the biggest UTV race in existence. And now he's making his impact over at Four Wheel Parts. And the dude's name, I love to call him JoJo, but Joey D. Come on over. He's going to be our next guest. And the reason why I wanted Joey to come here is because if you pay attention to social media and you're on any of the forums or on any of the Facebook pages that deal with UTVs, off-road, whatever the case may be, Joey D
brought his son, Baby C.
Baby C.
My sidekick.
Joey is dropping knowledge bombs. I keep saying it, and it's true. And what's significant about these things is everyone that chimes in, well-respected racers that are chiming in saying, yeah, I 100% agree, or I agree with that, and also this. But Joey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
What's going on? It's been a while since I've had you
Make
in
sure you keep the mic close, boss.
the
no
humbled Warfighter Made facility.
I know. It's been a little while. I don't know. Not a full year, but
Yeah, it's been a
it's
little
been
bit.
a little while.
Baby C, what's up?
What's up?
Put
What's
that,
up?
Yeah, so-
put that mic. He's just gonna stare at himself the whole time. Hey,
Yeah, I know. know.
Right here's the camera, son.
Baby C, right there's the camera, so you can just stare
I'm
at
having
that.
fun looking at that, though. Okay, I'll look at that.
Why? Because you're in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know that this is the Warfighter Takeover, but I just want to thank Joey D for doing all the stuff that he's done for Side by Side with UTV Underground. He's just been an influential person in the market, and he's one of the reasons that I actually got into Side by Side racing. So it was cool for me to be able to use his website as a leverage platform to talk to some sponsors that I had to be able to get my first UTV. So thank you very much, Joey, for doing all that stuff. It's hard work, pays off for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all from the right place, right? Passion driven, and just came in at the right time.
Yep.
Got lucky with the emergence of the UTV industry, and had a lot of fun helping shift the mentality of them just being golf carts to being well respected.
Does anybody still ever talk about that?
Oh yeah, but now it's like a badge of honor. It's kind of like we always back like in the mid 2000s. It kind of all formulated around Race Desert, right? UTV Underground kind of became the UTV version of RaceDesert.com. And you know the trophy truck guys were always known as country clubbers.
Yep.
And the Class 1 and 1600 guys were all buggy dorks. And so being called golf carts, it's kind of like just like a badge of honor. Now I used to take offense to it back then. Now it's kind of like you just own it, right? Everyone knows they're not just golf carts either.
We had a dirt bike podcast the other day with one of my buddies, Josh Shorter, and he was saying, like, I was like, hey, we're going to ride across the country. We're going to take dual sports and go off-road riding across the country. He goes, oh, no, dude, I'm a motocrosser, bro. Like, and so it's like the same shit in those different genres.
Absolutely, yeah.
Baby C, did you see Blake Vanderloo gave you a shout out? Look at you right there, Baby C.
Those comments coming in right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm famous, guys.
I love it. Baby C's the most famous one up here, that's for sure.
Without a doubt. I mean, his social media is going on.
You guys really need to up your game.
We're going to have to pull his mics.
I'm going to punch him in a second. Dude, still to this day, my favorite video of Baby C is when he's chilling eating that ice cream. And you're like, is that good? And he's just like,
yeah, full on sugar high.
I love that.
Yeah. He's my sidekick. The other boy is at a basketball game tonight.
Yeah,
Sister got her driver's license today. So
shout out to Mia and Enzo.
Yeah, the family. So normally I love bringing the whole family around, but Baby C was ready to ride, so he gets to come along.
And the glue that holds it all together, Camille.
Yep, and the glue that holds it all together, Mrs. DG.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
What's up, bro?
Not a lot. You know, we're just we're trying to change the game in the off-road parts and accessories business right now with four-wheel parts, and been a really fun year and a half for me, which is crazy to say. It's been just about that, a year and a half now, since I made the transition from my own business to going back to work for the man, and having a lot of fun doing it.
So real fast, let's talk about that transition, because that was probably the hardest thing that you had to do. Right?
100%.
Talk about it.
Yeah. You know, obviously building a company. At the time, I lived in a single-wide trailer with a very young family. Had a 12-year career. Had a laptop and a passion. Had just bought my first Yamaha Rhino, and was like, this thing's there's so much potential here with these things. And I was just geeking out on the Rhino as an owner.
Yeah.
You know, through forums and everything else, and one thing led to another. Was like, I could do a forum thing. I'm giving these sites so much content because I'm going Baja racing with the team I was a part of, and going to other events, and I'm taking pictures and writing my own reviews and stuff. And I'm like, I could just do this on my own. UTV Underground comes and takes off, and with the help of this guy standing over here, Mr. Craig Scanlon behind the scenes, and all he was doing for Polaris Razor at the time, you know, that was the game changer for UTV Underground. I was just kind of a dude that was at all the races, making a name, running around with a backpack and a camera, a backpack full of stickers.
Dude, he's selling himself a little bit short, though. He was hustling hard, and he was making a good name for himself along the way.
It was a lot of hustle. It was a grind for many years, and it was about 2012 when I finally got the chance to meet Craig face to face at a vehicle launch for a Razor 900 four-seater, and he saw something. You know, I sold a pretty good game on, you know, having all these ideas and things that people just weren't doing directly with the OEMs at the time, and he gave me a shot, and literally overnight it changed the game for our platform as a whole, because we were able to finally amplify it. You know what it's like when you get somebody to support you and take your drive and passion. It just dumps fuel on the fire. And so together we were able to just build UTV Underground, but then also help propel that Razor platform as they kept wanting up in the game with innovation and development. We were able to give it an authentic voice and show people the capabilities of them.
From an outsider standpoint, during that, all that you talk about it from the business standpoint, from seeing it and even seeing it with the stuff that you guys do with Rob now, having Polaris lead the charge with you and Craig was phenomenal. Coming from just the Yamaha Rhino, like you said, and understanding all of the stuff that was being done, not knowing behind the scenes, but seeing it from a, bird's eye view. There's no way that the UTV industry would have been even close had, well, first of all you, but obviously Craig being involved to propel it that far, man.
Yeah, I was kind of like a face guy because I was so out there in the industry, right? But with Craig was this team of just killers inside of that Polaris Razor organization. And what's exciting is here at Four Wheel Parts now, we've kind of got the band together. We've got a few of those OGs of Team Razor here, and you've seen the difference in 4WP in the past year, and it's really a blueprint that was built starting in 2007 and then developed all this past decade. And now we're just we're taking a lot of what was learned there for me, things that they know, right? And I'm still learning every day from these guys, but just applying a little bit of that passion, that knowledge, and that everyday drive as true off-roaders, and just giving this big monster of a company, which is Four Wheel Parts, just giving it that real love and attention and that authentic voice, right? So it's a lot of fun right now.
I'm sure you learn every day too.
Oh man, every day. I mean, luckily I these guys knew my strength, and I knew enough about how they operate to be able to be pretty plug and play, especially with my knowledge of the industry and whatnot. So it wasn't like I was going to a foreign, just a totally foreign place for me, right? But there, when you're operating, Polaris operates at an extremely high level internally, right, as from a corporate standpoint, and that has been the most rewarding for me is being able to learn the things on the inside from a business perspective, because when it comes to lifestyle and the off-road industry in general, I mean, I'm pretty well versed at I can make do there, right?
Well, like Drake said, started from the bottom, worked away to the top. Like, you have that absolute story, dude. Like, literally.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it was all grind, right? Just passion and love, and it's a
every day. I guarantee those little days that you were pissed come into play now.
10 years of UTV Underground was my college.
Yep.
I think, Craig, we talked about this before when I was coming on board. I mean, that was I wouldn't have been able to be in this position today if I had not gone through what I went through, building my own business and learning the industry and learning a lot of things, right? So
in 21 years in the Marine Corps was my college.
That's exactly what I was asking the Lima Charlie Hout boys too. Is that
there was so many times in Warfighter Made that I just wanted, like, why am I killing myself for free? Why am I doing this when I started Warfighter Made, I turned down a couple multi-$100,000 opportunities, and because I had a passion here to do this, and when things start going sideways, you just kind of like, why am I putting myself through this? But
all the things you learned through your military career were like, dude, I could kick this thing's ass.
Well, yeah, I'm not a quitter.
Right.
100%, I'm not a quitter. And so you just kind of weather the storm, and then things start happening, right?
I don't think anybody of us here are quitters, and especially Baby C, he's about to just jump out, man.
I am not a quitter.
Yep,
Good.
see?
I'm going to sit here until, I don't know what I'm going to sit here.
You ain't going to quit.
But I'm not quitting. It's it's like we got introduced to off-road through Adam Fitza. Adam Fitza introduced us to Bill Belansky. Bill Belansky introduced us to Jason and Jeremy Merrill, right? Jason and Jeremy Merrill at the Mint 400 that we went to because of Adam and Bill brought us over to Jason DeFucia and said, hey, these are the Warfighter Made guys. blah blah blah, this that and whatever. You know, they're doing some stuff in off road by putting guys as passengers in regional series races. And Jason looks at me, he's like, so if we give you 2 razors, how are you going to use them? And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, I have no idea. I don't even really know what a razor is, but I'm not going to miss this opportunity. You know.
But then the first camp razor, I remember we were out there. I was in my Players Razor 900, and some of those guys that we went on the rides with, holy shit, were they wild, dude!
I just saw Justin here, and I think he might have taken off. Justin's an Air Force vet. He's a fabricator, part of UTV Wolfpack. And Justin was riding with Nick Kimmel, who's a triple amputee, both legs and an arm. And he was in we called it the Stealth Fighter Razor. It was a 4-seater, and it was Proline Wraps had wrapped it to make it look like a Stealth Fighter, right? And the 2 of them were in that car. I was manning the booth in Camp Razor, and all of a sudden, I'm starting to get word that
I was on that ride, dude.
Kimmel wadded this thing up, and his passenger refused to ride with him anymore. And
I think he went back with me in sitting on the gas tank in the little Polaris 900 that I had.
So, God, I wish Justin. I just saw him. He must have taken off already. So, Justin, if you're seeing this, what happened, man? What happened?
That guy was getting with it, though. I've been on a couple rides with Joey. Joey hauls ass. This dude was going like bananas.
Yeah, and you know, he lives his life with his right hand. That's all he has. And
how did he control the car then? If just his right hand.
So
was there a lever too?
No, his prosthetics. So he's an above the knee amputee, and when he was going through all of his rehab and all that stuff, you know, they were talking to him about using the throttle rings and all this stuff, and he's just like, I want to drive with my legs. And so eventually his prostheses were so advanced that he basically gets into his vehicles. He puts his right leg on the gas, his left leg on the brake. He's got a remote control. He starts pushing buttons. They hydraulically lock in place. And then he just uses his residual limbs to push down on his prosthetics. And that's how he controls the gas and brake. And he is precise. We built a Jeep for him with Mike Duval of Extreme Toys. And Warfighter Made sent him to Easter Jeep Safari a couple times. And my only Moab experience ever was with Joey. And he's sending me videos back of navigating some of the obstacles that we were doing, like the Golden Crack, with zero effort, finesse, total finesse.
Which you have to have touch to do that.
And I'm watching it through my fingers because I'm just like, oh my god,
dude! I can attest to that. Like we were just trying to move these razors around in the shop here, and both of us were like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr," like full Austin Powers style. Yeah. So if he's got that much finesse, that's bitching.
And it's amazing. That's just the way, you know. I think when you lose something like that, your goal is to prove to yourself and to everybody else that, hey, this is just an injury. This doesn't define who I am.
Yeah,
and I'm going to continue on.
This is the new normal.
And then, Joey, when you started the UTV World Championships, the largest UTV race in existence.
Amazing race and party, by the way.
Yeah.
It was such a cool time.
You hit us up and had an idea for Warfighter Made to create a trophy, which has now become the Perseverance Award.
Yep.
What was that about? Why?
Well, I mean, anything that we did, it's remains true today, right? With Warfighter Made in 4-wheel parts, it's when we heard your story and we saw what you were doing for these veterans, it's something that, how do you not support that, right? You get involved. And so when we went to the UTV World Championship, I mean, I was running the gamut with ideas of how do we make this event different and how do we juice it up and make it cool and really make this something that's about the UTV community. There's big off-road races out there that UTVs are a part of, but the idea was to take what was so special with way back when with the Saboba Grand Prix back in the real late, like 2008, 2009, which was just epic, and it was just this cool UTV, real organic vibe. How do we take that vibe and apply it to the modern recipe of like the Mint 400, right? And just give it that big feel.
Yeah.
So the UTVs were not just a part of the show.
They're on the forefront.
They were the show,
Yep.
right? It was all about them. So running the gamut of ideas of how do we keep doing it, obviously with Warfighter Made, as we go down the line of, okay, giving out different awards, obviously you're going to reward the people who won the race and who do different things. But coming up, there's always, and this is what's special in off-road, is there has to be a never quit, never give up type of mentality to be a true off-roader, right? Because it's never over until it's over. I've been part of races where we were down 10 hours and we got to the last 100 miles of the Baja 1000, and all of a sudden we're done, right? Like we're just finishing to finish, and all of a sudden the class leader comes through, and holy crap, we're 5 minutes behind. The game changes, right? After being awake for 30 hours. And you never give up because of those opportunities. So every off-road race has, and every off-road racer has a story like that. So
do you think
being
there's
able
any relation
tie
to the way that the warfighters think too, being out in combat the same way?
100%. You have to have a never give up. And post-military service, especially the guys that have suffered these injuries, both mentally and physically, they have to continue to persevere in their daily lives and never give up and never quit, right? And so the Perseverance Award and bringing Warfighter Made into everything that we're doing, trying to find a spot that makes sense for what they're doing. An organic fit, not a force-fed fit, but an organic fit. And hell, I mean, the first time we heard Rob get up there and talk where he doesn't need a microphone even, you know, and gets up there, it just makes sense to bring Warfighter in, have an award called the Perseverance, and then find that story during that race, because there's always one story of a never give up mentality.
Absolutely.
And we found some great stories in those years of giving that award away.
I'm thinking about the very first one.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
which was Donna Ellsworth.
Donna Ellsworth and her quad, and pushing that quad across the finish line, pushing it for miles, right? Or
Yeah, how many
something
miles did
crazy.
she
Well, she pushed it pretty much in the entire infield.
Infield, right? Yeah.
And
Just think about how many, she was out there for what, 2 hours? And then all of a sudden, or an hour and a half for the whole race? How long is the race?
Well,
it was on quads. I'm not really sure
she
what
was
it was.
racing in the desert race early in the morning, but the point being is that
Well, I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Like, you're already tired as shit, and then she's got to push her quad that far. That's insane.
Yeah, and she's not like a big strong man either, right?
Right.
You know, and but she did it.
She'd
and
whip your ass.
in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Hey, everyone tuning in right now. I got Joey D. I just threatened him with Donna Ellsworth beating his butt. But if you're tuning in, we want to have you give us shout-outs. If you have a veteran in your life that you want to give a shout-out to, go ahead and hit us up on the Dirt Life Show. Leave a comment, and we want to give a little love to that veteran. And Joey, right now we're talking about the UTV World Championships, the man who started it, and we're talking about the Perseverance Award that he challenged Warfighter Made to coming up with. And we have had some amazing stories involved with that.
The award itself was the coolest award because I mean, that was something else with Worlds, right? Like if you won Worlds, you got like a trophy that felt like a real trophy, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a simple plaque. They were billet machined. The first year, Johnny Angle with UTV Inc. made them for us, and then we moved to having Assault Industries,
right?
Just engineering some beautiful pieces of work.
Yep.
These trophies mean something, right?
Every year they're different.
If you get one, you're displaying that, right? It's not a plaque that just ends up in a stack of other plaques. But the Perseverance Award was just that custom. It just, there was something special about it, and that's something that gets passed down, right? That's something that doesn't ever go away in a family.
And what's rad, for me, being a part of that is at least once a year, everyone who's won a Perseverance Award always shows it off, tags us in it somehow, and like the Sims family who they dress theirs up in for Christmas and everything, and that's awesome. And I actually wanted to bring that up. Warfighter Made has become really good friends with the Sims family.
Great family.
And the reason why they were nominated for the Perseverance Award for that UTV World Championship was because we come together at the end of the race, and it's basically like, okay, what did you hear? What had happened?
Right.
What is, what's the scoop? And it would just seem like that year no one really had anything. And all of a sudden Joey looks at me and he's just like, Casey Sims. Casey Sims needs to win that Perseverance Award because the kid is podiumed every time at the UTV World Championships. He's racing like 3 other organizations. He's, sitting on the box. He's a straight A student, and he's about as privateer as privateers come.
I like
and
that.
It's all about
It's a family thing too for them, right? Like that's what's special about and why I just love and always will the youth racing side of things, because that you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the family support system around you, you just will never get to live your live up to all your potential. And I can name a host of families,
Quinteros.
all of them that are out there.
Quinteros,
Danburys. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's so all of them at some level have.
You can
have some
walk
level of
down the
support.
pits in a Lucas race even just dunk, dunk, dunk.
Yeah.
and what's rad is they're all friends.
That's exactly why we started the Dirt Life, because I love those stories so much.
Well,
all of these people.
We joke around when we were talking about the kids racing, right? And I would always have these hard conversations with parents that were hitting me up about sponsorships and this, and I would try to and cost of vehicles, and they want to build this and push the limit of the rules, and that's racers.
Right.
But I would always tell them, like, stop. Remember what you're doing right now. You're grooming the kids to teach them to be professionals and also do something together as a family unit, and this is for fun. Because at the end of the day, when the parents are all freaking out, or the teams are freaking out about this guy did this and we got to protest and he's got a cheater motor and everything else, what are the kids doing? They're all together riding their bikes in the pits. The race is the excuse to all go and hang out together for these kids, and they're all buddies. Baby C is tied in with all these racer kids.
Yeah.
They talk and they text, and they're all friends, and when they get together at a race, it's simply like finally they all get to hang out.
Yeah.
They're race buddies.
Compassion, ethics, morals, everything.
And then there's a few of those kids, though, they get on the track, and you see it in their eyes, right? You see
The
it just
fire?
like-
It's game on.
Yeah, it's
That's
game on.
Travis Salee. Like
Yeah.
when he's getting on the starting line, you see like that fierce look in his eye, and
Yep.
he's like,
Baby C
ready.
with his shouts outs to Travis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any more shouts outs, bud?
No, not really.
What do you mean? You got a
You
couple
got-
of athletes that you represent?
Oh yeah. Shout out to my first client. I am now a manager for Quintero Racing. Seth
Yeah.
Quintero.
That business.
That's
Yeah.
that's a pretty big one right there.
Yeah. And who's your other guy?
Oh yeah, he's my.
You work that Red Bull deal for him?
Yeah.
You get him on that Dakar team too? Hell yeah, dude. Good job.
Yeah, Baby C. We went to the Best in the Desert Awards. That was a lot of fun. I've kind of taken a year off from being immersed in the racing scene to really immerse myself in my new role with the company. And so I've been to a handful of races still through the year, right? I luckily I've got a boss that insists on dragging me to events, because otherwise I'd just stay focused on work, and so it allows me to remember why I love this. But we went to go and celebrate the championships with Quintero and the Guthries at the Best in the Desert Awards, and Baby C showed up in a suit and went
Oh,
up
we
on
saw
the
it.
podium.
Oh, nice.
We
Yeah.
saw
Gave
it.
Ken
a little
Roxon
speech
style?
and Stole the show.
Nice.
It was pretty funny. That was a good time. But it's always good to get together with the race family, because that's what it really is these people have become family to me. And, of all the different things that I've gotten to do, I've been really blessed and rewarded with the travel and the places I've seen, and the vehicles I've been able to build and own and drive, and all those things that we do as off-roaders that we love to do. But ultimately, the most rewarding things are these relationships and these lifelong relationships and friendships that I've been able to forge with people that I've worked with, as well as those racers that I've gotten to watch their careers grow and blossom. And to this day, it's just though when I look back on the memories of the UTV Underground days for myself, those are the things that stand out to me, not the videos and the builds and all that stuff is all cool, but it's the memories and the relationships I've been able to forge and still maintain. And now
Absolutely, yeah.
that Craig and I, we go over to Four Wheel Parts, and it's like I said that statement of the band being together. It's like that on the inside,
Sweet.
but on the outside, you see a lot of the same faces that we've been with for many years. We bring them along because that's what we do, right? Warfighter Made
absolutely.
is plugged in with Four Wheel Parts because that's what we do. And what's great is we're adding to that family. We built a really strong team in 2019. I'm really proud of the fact that we built a 4WP official race program and influencer program, but with the racers, we had a win or podium in every single major off-road event last year.
Wow.
In multiple different classes. And that was pretty special to be able to plug the right people in and do that. And now with 2020,
Dude, that's a pretty huge feat.
We said when we set out to build the team, and Craig and myself and a handful of other guys talked about it, we were going to build a team that not only would fulfill the business end of things and get our name out there and represent us properly, but would deliver in a way that they were proven, right? They were legit guys. And so we built a really strong team, but we're getting ready to drop some news next week. Because the hard part is year one's kind of an easy thing because we're setting the plane, right? We're setting the standard.
Yep.
Now you got to one up yourself, and we went all out last year, right? We went big. We came at it hard, but we've got some news next week that will drop that will elevate this program a little bit higher, and we're really excited about that going into King
How
of the
can people
Hammers.
pay attention to that?
How can anything be bigger than the Four Wheel Parts Warfighter Made signature vehicles?
Those are big too. Those are. I'll tell you. The racing side and what I'm hinting at for next week is a big thing from the team side, and this is the stuff I really love. This is what gets me excited every day. But things like Warfighter Made, that's where it grounds you, right? Like that's the stuff where you're making a difference. A racer, if he doesn't get a deal, he's going to go hustle it up and find a deal somewhere. They'll keep persevering and doing their racing program. Supporting a thing like Warfighter Made, that's really when you sit back and you feel really good that you're making a positive difference with, the blessings that we have and the opportunities that we have with the business. So we're doing something else that's kind of fun too. We're based out of Compton. We're headquartered right there in LA. And there's a local organization called the Compton Cowboys. Mm-hmm. You'll see them in a Google commercial during the Super Bowl.
Sweet.
But these are guys that are in the hood, and they take kids off the street and teach them the equestrian lifestyle with horses and whatnot. And they got trucks and they got side-by-sides on their little ranch. And so we're getting ready to start doing something fun with them to give back to our community.
Nice.
In an authentic way, right?
Yeah.
In a way that ties in a really fun, cool way, and Warfighter's that way for us as well. So there is the big stuff, the glitzy, glamorous, like really cool racing and influencer, the Diesel Brothers, all that big stuff. But these types of things are really the stuff that make you sit back at the end of the day and feel really
Yeah, not to
good
get
about where you're
sidetracked,
going.
but Warfighter Made, but he also supports a guy that's near and dear to my heart named Jesse Nelson. Jesse hit me up after he broke his back, asking obviously all kinds of questions about spinal cord injuries and what the fuck am I going to do next, man? And I was like, yeah, you got to, hit up the guys at Polaris and see what they say. And
Well, the Jesse story is pretty cool.
it's amazing.
The way that Jesse was introduced to getting to the team was through two of our good friends, Mike Emerson and R.J. Anderson, and they told Craig the story of Jesse. And like Craig has done numerous times with wild ideas or people that I've come in and talked to him about, he got behind it and said, let's support this guy. And we took him to a vehicle launch for the RS1 single seat machine, and brought Jesse out there for fun just to be part of it. And Craig surprised him with a vehicle that, together with these guys, built a machine behind the scenes with a really slick Holes Racing hand control system,
it's cool,
Holes
yeah.
setup, and put Jesse in a side-by-side and gave him a new lease on his life because he went through some dark times, right? Just like so many other of the guys that you work with, going from being a blossoming career in motocross,
Yep.
being a Red Bull guy, and then breaking his back and losing the use of his legs, takes you to some dark places, right? And especially as a young guy,
Just like the Warfighters, yep.
just like the Warfighters. And so giving him that opportunity And that's another guy, right? We come to 4 Wheel Parts, and Craig comes in and says, we're doing this.
I can't
And
wait. We got
make it
Jesse
happen.
coming on the show in a few weeks here, so I can't wait to hear a little bit more about his
He's a
story.
fun
I want to
guy.
hear the ins and outs of. I mean, obviously everybody knows he was a good dirt bike racer, but I want to hear the ins and outs of his life, man, because that type of stuff is really important, and that's why I appreciate Rob doing all his stuff with the Warfighter guys. And I can't wait for Lima Charlie Echo.
The going on the Warfighter recreational therapy trips. I think I got to do 3 of those. These were big trips too, like week long, basically. Mammoth was the first one. Moab, the second one, and then going with the Godfreys in Utah for the third one.
That one looked like a fun trip.
3 highlight trips, right?
You can't beat a Godfrey trip.
I don't know. We might be able to beat it with this comment. Joey D's kid's hair is so sick.
Yeah, Robbie Hornsby,
Well,
and then
Baby C got that good hair.
I actually don't like. I need a haircut.
You need a mullet. What's wrong with you?
I can't grow it out anymore. It's like my mom's gonna kill me.
The mullet made him famous, but yeah, Mom did not love it. We ran it for as long as we could, and
Rick
had to
Fuller
retire it.
hit us up, said
I'm
there's
gonna
a couple
try
of
my
us
hardest.
watching. I'm assuming that he's talking about veterans watching. Rick, if you're still watching, man, hit us up. What branch did you serve in? I'd love to give you another shout out, man.
What were some of those trips like that you guys went on, like with the Godfreys and stuff like that? And obviously, well, who did you bring actually?
So the very first trip that we went on to Mammoth, which was actually kind of one of my favorites because that was like,
It was all new.
that's what started it, you know.
That was Polaris getting behind the Warfighter organization, us being linked up, plugging in, saying we can go and take their story and produce a series of content that then allows Polaris to use their platform to put Warfighter on the map.
and then use their platform to like basically they said, hey, here's this video, here's these veterans that sacrificed a lot, and now they're basically getting their therapy by being out with other veterans, driving Polaris Razors, but that's not what the focus was, right? It was about the camaraderie and having fun and the adrenaline. And then they said, if this video gets 100,000 views in 24 hours, we're going to give Warfighter Made 2 more vehicles for a total of 4. And that thing got 100,000 views in like 16 hours or something
Sweet.
like that. And that
Crushed
that's solidified the, there's a lot of there's a lot of companies and stuff out there that, when you approach them and you say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, we help veterans.
Yep.
There's companies out there that say, okay, so what do I get out of it? And as soon as that comes out,
It hurts just to hear
it's
that.
just like, you know what? Honestly, I don't think we're.
Same shit happens in racing programs.
Yeah,
I race. I'm cool. Give me something.
But from the racing standpoint, it's to me it's different because Aaron Wedeking of PRP Seats is a really good friend of mine. Right. I told you the shaved bear story.
Yep.
I was running in an area, and all of a sudden I saw this big lumbering shaved bear running on a trail, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is this thing? Right. And I was a little nervous at first, but then as I got closer, I realized it wasn't a shaved bear. It was just Aaron Wedeking trying to shed some Bud Light weight from himself. And so we started working out together. And, I was always, as a business owner and as a nonprofit, I was always like approaching him and asking him questions about, why is it so hard breaking through companies and getting support and so on and so forth. And the one thing he said to me was, Rob, every single day I get hit up at least 5 or 6 times with everybody who has the next greatest thing.
Yep.
And I've supported people with the next greatest thing and never saw anything from it.
Yeah. There's no return.
So now it's just easier to say no to everybody than it is to actually like get in and decipher who is who.
Yep.
So he helped Warfighter Made develop a plan, which we just used yesterday. We went to a company and said, hey, you have something that we need, and we're going to donate it to somebody else who's catastrophically wounded. But I don't want you to give it to me. I want you to sell it to me. And we're going to do all these really cool things with it. And if we satisfy all these requirements, then you're going to donate the money back to us. So it's a win-win. You're not out anything. Basically, you're giving us a deal on what it is that we're purchasing from you, and it's helped us numerous times, and it's a great thing.
That's a great way to go about it. Jason Merrill said the first trip was Pismo Beach.
Joey,
that was that was their first recreational therapy trip in Razors that the Merrills and Wolfpack kicked off with these guys in Rockstar, and you guys went and did a
and it was I was driving one of the Merrill Brothers machines and never been in a Razor before, right? And I go and find the biggest freaking dune that I can hit, right? And I'm hitting this thing, and I feel like I'm getting like 8 feet of air, and I'm probably getting like 3 inches. But I remember Jason comes running up to me, and he's like, "Hey, bro." Actually, he had to because he couldn't see.
How he came up to you.
Because he couldn't see over the door bar, he had to jump up and kind of hang there. And he's like, "Hey,
Jason,
bro,
I think you better chime in and defend yourself, dude.
You need to let off the gas when you're airborne because you're gonna break a belt." And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys didn't really give me a whole lot of instruction before you gave me the."
Yeah, he was saying Bill was on that ride too.
Yeah, Bill was on that ride. Yeah, Bill actually had his Predator buggy out there. This is not it, by the way, and let Brian Meyer drive it. And Brian's a combat wounded triple amputee.
Warfighter Made has helped DVR out a lot.
Right leg above he's a right leg amputee above the knee, right hand amputee, and he lives his life with a ring finger and a pinky finger. And he gives basically Brian the ominous jump in his Predator that probably made 200 horsepower at that time and go rip in the dunes. And I think Adam Fitza was riding shotgun with him, and Adam's telling Brian, watch out for witches' eyes and watch out for razorbacks and all this stuff. And as soon as he says it, he gets hung up on one and almost launched over it, but locked it up and got stuck. So we had to run over there, help him out. And of course he freaking roosts the crap out of everybody. And, I still got Pismo sand in my crack from all that. But
I don't know if Jason's talking about the same dude, but he said drives like he stole it.
Yeah, that was Brian.
That's pretty much how every guy that I've ever been on a Warfighter Made trip.
Dude, they're freaking nuts, man.
No fearless. Well, you got to figure what have these warfighters been through,
Dude, I've been through a lot, but I'm not as nuts as most of these dudes.
Well, yeah, you have been through a lot. But, there's some of these guys have been through things that just give them, and when I say guys, I mean men and women. Some of these guys have been through the things that just give them a different taste of life.
Yeah, their perspective is completely different.
Right, and they're all
Albie the surfer rolled one of the cars.
Yes, that happened too. Right, which so the warfighters get this big, hey, don't mess these things up, blah blah blah, and then Rockstar shows up with all their surfers because they were doing some commercial down the way, and so everyone's like, oh hey, let's jump in the Wolfpack UTV razors, bruh, right? And as soon as they go out there, they're tossing these things left and right, but they're sponsored athletes, so no one's really saying anything.
Jason's talking shit about you. He says you're the one that drives like you stole it.
Oh, whatever. I didn't. It was your fault. I didn't know what I was doing. So, Joey, we're going to let you go here in a minute because there's a couple more people I want to get up.
And we got to go to commercial break too.
How much time do we have for commercial?
Let's do 6 more minutes.
Okay. These knowledge bombs that you've been dropping, right? Because there's a lot of people. Mike Pasquarella, Desert Vets Racing. When he first started coming to me, or we met each other, he was just like, listen, man, I have a razor. I love my razor, but I'm paying for my razor off of my GI Bill, my 911, and that thing's getting ready to end. And, I've been racing it. I want to put other vets in it, and I just don't know how I'm going to afford it and, whatever. And I'm like, bro, if you got into this to, have somebody pay your way or to make money, you're going about it the wrong way. Yeah. You're going about it the wrong way. And, in a sense, Desert Vets Racing has persevered, and they're up to 3 or 4 cars now, maybe more. Their program is thriving. They're getting more veterans in the vehicle. Shout out to our sister Deidre, who was racing with them at the Mint 400 last year. And, She got hurt, but she's coming back strong. What would you tell somebody that is in this fray and you get hit up with the same questions all the time? What is the number one thing, or what are the things that you want people to know when they're getting into
Before
this?
he answers that question, I want to make sure that the audience understands it's different, the question that you're asking him, because if anybody that's watching the show is a veteran, they should definitely hit you up because you can answer all those questions for them.
If you are a veteran in the off-road world, like Mike Pascarella, Navy vet, Desert Vet Racing, hit me up. All right, we got another race organization that's coming on now called Torn Warriors. There's a bunch of groups out there, veteran-wise. Come to me. I'll give you all the knowledge that I have. But veterans that are in the off-road world, people that are in the off-road world, because this is the Dirt Life show. What do you want them to know about, racing, their race program, sponsorships, stuff like that?
Well, the first thing is stop.
You only have 30 seconds.
Well, I'll just give you kind of a nutshell elevator pitch. You have to stop comparing yourself to other teams.
Right.
Number one, biggest mistake I see, or one of the biggest mistakes, is guys instantly coming and going, yeah, this guy's getting this and this, and I do this and this, and stop with that, right? First thing you have to do is focus on your program and say, what do I have to offer a business? Mm-hmm. A sticker. The days, the UTV industry has evolved. The days of a guy like Craig or other companies just coming out and just getting cars out there to as many people to help grow the sport, those days have changed. The sport's grown.
Right.
It's not like that. And same would be for the partners. PRP is a good example that you brought up. The first thing you have to do is focus on your program and what makes you special, and then determine what it is that you do that can bring that company value. Putting a sticker on the door, that's something that's just part of the deal, unless we're talking the whole car, right? But putting a little small sticker on the side isn't doing a company anything. So you have to determine what it is that you can do to bring that company value. Today, it's pretty easy with content and social media, but it's also hard to cut through the noise of social media.
Saturation.
So, yeah, but you have to make a steady commitment to that. And there's ways that you can do it without having a big mega following if you put the commitment in. We were just talking about another team or another company that's out there that does a lot of great lifestyle stuff, but forgets to talk about the people that pay the bills, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to show all the cool images of them sliding and racing and everything else, but they forget to post that one photo of the the wheel, and talk about why this brand is so special and cool to them, right? So there's a lot of little things that you can do. I'll say, we don't have enough time to rally through all the things I've been talking about. 3 years ago, I started the UTV and side-by-side racing group page on Facebook, just for fun, as a subsidiary to the UTV Underground page I had, because group pages were exploding. It's the new forum, right? So I started one just for fun, and I kind of left it dormant and let it grow on its own. And then this past year, just because I'm immersed in a new world, but I still pay attention. I still have a lot of knowledge I feel that I want to express to people, and I still see things in social media and at racetracks that drive me crazy that people do. So I figured I'd start this new topic called Sunday Discussions, and every Sunday I try to drop a little bit of knowledge on some things that can help a race program. And it's not gospel, it's just things from my experience. And so I've covered social media, I've covered the sponsorship as a whole, based on what I know, being on both sides. I've been on both sides of the table. I've been the guy chasing dollars for my own business, and I'm a guy on the other side of the table who has the opportunity to offer dollars. But what are you doing for me?
And it's called UTV and Side-by-Side Racing Group on Facebook?
UTV and Side-by-Side Racing. Yeah, it's real simple.
Yeah, so join the group because that sounds like a really cool thing.
What's cool is it's kind of what UTV Underground was from a discussion standpoint in our forum back in the day when forums were popping. And now this group page, it has all the best racers on there. Everybody who's somebody for the most part in UTV racing, if they're on Facebook, they're on this page. And I'll start a discussion, and they'll chime in, and they'll offer their own insight. And then obviously it's a group page, so these guys are posting their stuff every day and all day. So follow that page, and you can learn a lot from that discussion that you've got there.
Absolutely.
But make sure that they apply it to their own unique style of
Yeah,
program.
and what's great is it's an open forum, so you can post your questions in there. And I'm not on there every day; I can't keep up with it, but I try to jump in on the weekends when I can, or in the evenings, and answer some questions. But other racers are having,
Yeah.
and that's what we're a community, right? So you know things
Yep.
that have helped you in your career to get to where you are. You can offer some advice, and I think that's important to pass it on. There is a level of competition when you get to a certain level where it's like, dude, I don't want to give away all the secrets. If
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a guy, I want to keep some of that true to myself, and I get that. But I'm
Even a lot of
visual.
guys in the audience, they go through those groups and they hit me up personally or whatever it is, and it's like you said, it's a camaraderie. It's
Yeah, that's what's great about it. So that page is fun. It's growing. But before I leave, I just want to first off say thank you for everything you continue to do. You and I have talked for many, many years about Warfighter Made and all the things trying to work together, and we try to support where we can and do that. And it's great to see just how far Warfighter Made has come. It's an honor to always be included in things like this and be a part of Warfighter Made and have Warfighter Made be part of Four Wheel Parts. So thank you for everything you do for the people that you have changed their lives and affect them on a daily basis. And there's many more lives that you'll continue to affect. And not just you, but your entire team at Warfighter Made. It does not go unnoticed, right? People are paying attention, and it's great to see this thing continue to grow for you. And we're stoked to have you a part of Four Wheel Parts. It's really fun to be able to kick off the first of these 4WP Warfighter signature builds that we got kicked off.
Yeah.
And look forward to doing a few more this year with you, and looking forward to helping out some of these veterans in the way that we can help.
both of you guys and your organizations are doing fantastic. Thank you guys very much.
I want to say one more thing real quick. Amy Quintero, how are you going to give a shout out to Baby C? You
I was
see him
looking at that
every
comment.
single day. You don't see me hardly ever, and you give a shout out to Baby C.
I was looking at
Whatever,
the
Amy.
comment, and I was just waiting for you guys to stop talking so I can say hi back to her.
Well, say hi back to her. She's
All right. Hi, Amy. Oh, wait, no, the camera's over there. I forgot. Hi, Amy.
Can we hear Baby C's answer on how to get sponsors?
Yeah. What do you think, Baby C? What is your secret
To getting sponsors.
to getting sponsors?
You tell them, well, for me, it's kind of easy. You just tell them, hey, I'm Baby C, and I want you to sponsor me.
Gosh dang. I've created a monster.
I was going to say that's clearly the best answer for the show, but I'm not sure how far that answer is going to go in real life.
If his racing career doesn't work out, his comedic career will.
Yeah,
so it'll be all right. I wish my boys could do more racing. I really do. We've sold Enzo's car. Baby C still has his. I did the time-wise to get out there and do it. I really love seeing the kids run and race. He's been very fortunate that he didn't have to race a whole bunch, but he got to show up with a bunch of stickers on the side of the car.
Jason
remember
Merrill said he's surprised Baby C's not whipping up drinks for us.
I wish he was.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud. Well, thank you, Baby C, and thank you, Joey. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
It was really fun.
Come up here and be a part of this, and thank you guys again for doing this, and you as well, George, giving the Warfighter Made a platform to once again amplify their message is huge. And anybody that's listening out there, if you haven't donated yet and contributed in your own way to Warfighter Made, I sincerely encourage you to do so. It's something that you can see those dollars going to work every single day.
100%.
And seeing the work that this man puts in, and it comes from the right place. It's a great organization to support. So I hope everyone continues to do that. And if you haven't, you jump on board. So
every little bit helps, even though we don't ever make very much money from our apparel. All the money's going to you tonight, bud.
I appreciate
That's
that,
awesome.
man. Thanks.
Follow us at 4 Wheel Parts Official on Instagram. And 4 Wheel Parts on Facebook. We are going to break the internet, as I like to say, next week. If you are a fan of off-road racing, you do not want to miss the news that we are dropping next Tuesday on those channels. So make sure to pay attention. I look forward to seeing everybody out of King of the Hammers.
No, I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, you should be excited. It's going to be pretty cool. And, but King of the Hammers is coming. Look forward to seeing everybody out there. Follow us at 4 Wheel Parts Official. 95 stores nationwide.
95?
95 now. Yeah, 95 stores
Woo-wee.
Nationwide. Southern California is on lock.
Oh, you converted them like Jimmy Jeeps or whatever stores.
We're finding them. We're finding them, and we're bringing them into the family.
Nice.
But no, 95 stores nationwide. We're growing. been around since 1961. This company has grabbed a gear this year. It's amazing that I've been on the inside now to see just how experienced the guys are at the store level, and seeing the builds that they're turning out, from the daily drivers to the fully customized rigs. We do it all. And so if you got a truck, a Jeep, an SUV, side-by-side, look us up. Feel free to shoot me a message. I'll do my best to get you that bro deal, but I'll definitely line you out with the right store and the right guy to talk to get your rig taken care of.
And if anybody needs an agent, Baby C is obviously for hire. How can they reach you, Baby C?
Follow me on Instagram at _babyc_DG.
Look how he finally puts his mic close to his mouth. He's like, I'm going to get this out there.
I need to make sure that everyone
It's a good follow.
Me,
It's a pretty good follow. If you will laugh.
I'm gonna have to hit that blue button.
Yeah,
I follow him.
yeah, you will laugh. So anyway, thank you guys for having us.
Guys.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to take a commercial break. A couple of us have to go pee. We will be right back.
TMI.
Introducing Rigid's new SRL Series light bar, featuring a sleek 20-inch curved housing, ultra-wide forward projecting beam pattern, and a unique halo backlight feature offered in 4 color options. The SRL Series light bar's new optic combination projects light over 70 degrees wide, with more than enough distance to safely drive in low visibility conditions, making it the perfect lighting solution for most applications. The halo backlight feature is offered in red, white, blue, or amber, and is wired independently from the forward projecting light. Instantly transition from style to function with the flip of a switch, making it easier than ever to own the night.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in the Desert and SCORE. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Solder Weld. Who is Solder Weld, and what is their impact on the off-road community? Well, some of you may have seen Solder Weld's booths at the races, Lint 400, Vegas to Reno, Score and Snore events, and the UTV World Championship. You're seeing their stickers and sponsor wraps on more and more racers' vehicles every year. But who are they, and what do they have to offer us as off-road enthusiasts? Well, late last year, Solder Weld introduced their new off-road repair kit to the off-road industry and sold out their first week. The interest was overwhelming, as many off-roaders already knew of Solder Weld's aluminum radiator repair rods, and now they were included in a convenient carry kit in camo or black. If you're a racer of any type or off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product. Solder Weld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped into your roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or a brake line? We've literally seen a top-tier desert race truck at the 2019 Mint 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they would have had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just a minute. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. Solder Weld's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredible high tensile strength, leaving you with a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy who broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today. Your friends will thank you. Yeah, we are back. Man, episode 23 is going pretty good. This whole Warfighter takeover, what do you think?
I'm stoked. We just had Joey D and the infamous Baby C on. Actually, he's waving right now.
Later, boys.
You're a pimp, Baby C.
Appreciate you guys coming on the show, man. That was pretty cool. I honestly feel like maybe I could just start producing the show and you can just take over, dude. You're doing a great job.
Whatever you need me to do. I also noticed that Amy Quintero came on, giving me a little love. Finally. She said she had to give it to Baby C first, though, because that's Seth's manager.
Throwing shouts outs.
I get it. Blake Vandaloo out there saying what up again. My money's on you, Blake, for King of the Hammers. Don't disappoint me.
That would be pretty cool, man. They're due a victory, aren't they?
What's that?
They're due a victory, aren't they?
Oh, well, I mean, we got lots of friends that are out there that are due victories, but Blake winning it before. I'd like to see him hoist that hammer up there one more time.
Maybe we can ask Amy and she could chime in on social media or just yell. But are they doing the King of the Hammers this year?
Who, the Quinteros?
Yeah.
Quintero Racing? I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
I noticed that like Maddie Wedeking from PRP, she's not going out there this year, and a couple others.
It looks like the UTV class is going to be pretty thick this year, though.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
I haven't seen. Are they doing the trophy truck race again?
Oh, that I don't know. I didn't even know that they did that until this year, that they did it last year. I didn't even see anything.
No, it was rad.
Was it?
Oh, my God. I mean, if I remember correctly, Rob Mack was out there. The Pudias were out there.
Are you going to go to King of the Hammers this year?
We're going to go. I want to go for the UTV race to see guys like Blake, rip around. But we're definitely going to show up at least Friday. I actually got a high school friend, Josh Lessenberg, and his wife, Amanda, that are going to be out there. And they live up in NorCal, and this is an opportunity for us to come together. So, we're going to be there hanging out, do whatever. Got to go shout out to Rugged Radios and give the Steve Squared some hard times.
Yeah, give them a hard time for sure.
Yeah,
that'll be pretty fun, man. Are you going to bring any of the guys out, like just hang out?
Any vets that are interested in coming, we're going to be rolling out in the TRV. So any vets, any service members that want to go and drive out with us, they're more than welcome to.
For anybody that don't know about that TRV, that 5-ton, that thing is badass.
Our military 5-ton. If you want to know what it is, you can check it out on Instagram, Warfighter_TRV. The TRV stands for Therapy and Recovery Vehicle. And, we use it as a rolling billboard, but more importantly, when we go out and do our therapy events, it's AC in the back. So
Control temperature for people that need it.
Any of our vets that are paralyzed that have issues controlling their body temp, any of our amputees, amputees have the same blood volume as you and I, but less surface area to cool it. So we keep the back of the TRV cooler than outside air temp, and we have a wheelchair lift on the back of that thing. So it's all for the comfort of the of our brothers and sisters that serve.
Well, thanks Lucretia for chiming in too.
Our girl Lucretia.
Yeah, she's doing good now that we had Eric and. Oh, man, Trevor come down. Trevor rode my mini bike a little bit. We gave him a whole bunch of shop stuff.
I think I just saw it was Trevor's birthday or something like that.
Yeah, Trevor turned 18, man.
And that kind of blew me away because this whole time that I was hanging out with him, I thought he was like 34 or something like that. I was just like, man, that's a big kid.
He's a rad kid, man.
Happy birthday, Trevor. But continuing on with this
Who's next?
This takeover, I want to have my brothers, Mitch Malott and Danny Navoa, come up here and hang out. So a little backstory here. Mitch is a combat wounded combat medic, and my brother Danny is a combat wounded Marine, served with Alpha 1-4 and a couple combat deployments, Afghanistan, Iraq, and then we came together through mutual friends of ours. Guess we're all scooting up now. Dave Daly, the monster motivator, had a friend named Bob, the cross-eyed Musso, and we all came together for dinner one night, and Bob invited Danny, and that basically I've never been able to get rid of him after that. But the truth is, my partner in crime, right-hand man, my sounding board, when there's something that I absolutely don't want to do and he knows it, he'll end up doing it for me. Because,
Sweet.
And so anyways, Mitch, what's up, man?
Not much. Doing good.
Hanging out?
Yep. Been riding.
He's been riding. We were put in a position just December of last month. One of our board members, Chris Voorhees, donated a dirt bike to us, and we were able to take that thing to Baja HQ.
Sweet.
And they went through it and redid it, slapped some Michelins on it. We got a
light system and stuff.
We got a Clicktronic shifter for it, and
I had one similar on my X Games bike.
And put that thing on there. I saw. Now, was that X Games televised?
Yeah.
Did you freaking wad yourself up? And
I was the only person that on all of the, even out of like all the Supercross guys, I was the only dude that made Sports Center that year.
Yeah, because you wad yourself up, you jumped up, you freaking.
No, I wadded it up. I broke my arm, and my wrist was just hanging, and I still finished the last 2 laps past 2 dudes. Stood by the podium, waited to hear all the podium speeches because I was so pissed that I didn't make it.
Yeah.
Then went to Taco Bell and went and got my arm fixed at the hospital.
I remember you doing like the Georgie Hamill waddle up to your bike, picking it up, jumping back on it, and going for it.
I didn't even care what I looked like. I was so fucking pissed that I was like, oh, my arm is toast. Like it was all out of socket, broke. I was like, I'm just going to, I don't even care if it falls off. I'm going to finish this sucker.
You hear that, Taco Bell? You hear what this guy did for your company?
I love tacos that much that I got shitty tacos on the way to the hospital.
Oh, shitty tacos. Never mind, Taco Bell. Never mind.
Let's get the Cowgirls taco shop down here in Temecula Old Town, Cowgirls Cafe or whatever. We just went there. Dude, the corn and the tacos were insane. Like the baddest tacos I've ever had. So good.
Cowgirl? What?
Apparently we're going there tomorrow.
I guess we're going there tomorrow.
Well, what's up, guys? Can you guys give us a little bit of background so our audience knows who you are?
Yeah, my name is Mitch Malott. I live up in Hesperia now, out of Texas, in Huntington Beach. Got a left leg amputation, 2012, and got that done in Texas at San Antonio. Did 21 years in the military and retired because of the injuries. and just kind of been like a rambling man, just around.
How many years did you do in the military as an amputee?
First of all, wait.
2 years.
2 years.
I didn't know that was something that could be done.
I was if you're getting surgeries or a bunch of medical stuff, they're not kicking you out right away. So I was in uniform for 2 more years.
I also think the military has done a very good job that if you are, even though you're an amputee or you're combat wounded, if you still have a desire to serve, they will try to make a place for you to do that.
Different positions.
I mean, we know there's a lot of guys. I can't think of his name right now. He's a SF Green Beret. He is an AK amputee above the knee, and I think his name's Nick. And the dude's a beast.
Yeah,
and still serves in combat. As a single leg amputee, and there's a lot of like really.
He can get around that good.
There's a lot of really famous memes.
Shit, man.
Of him like standing there, and the dude is massive. He's just a freaking muscled out dude, and he's got a prosthetic leg, and it says, the enemy took my leg. Now the joke's on them. My leg is bulletproof, or something like that. And it's just,
yeah.
The dude's a monster, and so our buddy Davey Lind, Force Recon Marine, Scout Sniper, double leg amputee, he was injured at like 16 or 17 years within the Marine Corps, and you usually have to hit your 20-year mark to retire. And they let Davey serve in uniform until he went. They could have medically retired him right away. Mitch probably could have been medically retired right away,
Yep.
but some guys' determination is just like, no, I started this gun club.
Did they ever tell you that?
Not to my face, but
Did they say, hey, you're free to go, or you were like, fuck you?
if you got real mad at everything and started throwing a fit, they'd probably kind of like, hey, man, you can leave if you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And then you can, but they're going to be sucking.
Wow.
Be out there with a little sign saying help a
Dude,
vet.
that's badass.
And then speaking of, standing on street corners with signs, Danny Navoa, what's up, bro?
That's
How's it going?
That's how we met. Gave him a buck.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Danny.
Well, I did 12 years in the Marine Corps. I got injured in 2008.
Were you from California?
I'm actually from California, so now I stay here in Menifee, and so this is kind of my part-time gig here. Just kind of come out here and work on all the vehicles, and work next to Rob, which is awesome, and giving back to all the veterans, like Mitch.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. What was when you guys left? Both of you guys. You can answer first, Mitch. What were the? I don't want to say complications. What did it feel like when you got back into civilization? Clearly, you have leg complication, but
There in San Antonio at the CFI Center for the Intrepid, it was a one-stop shop. If you were going there, you had Social Security, you got VA, you got Army, and I can only speak for the Army guys. It was all in the same building. We didn't have to go anywhere. Social Security, you walk up or you wheel your wheelchair there and tell them what you got. Same thing for the VA. Before you get out, they make sure everything's checked off. So in that portion, it was great. My first day out of the military wasn't too bad. I mean, I had to go to the VA to get my first appointment, and that thing got kind of haywire for a bit, but they finally fixed that, and it's had its time.
being introduced back into civilization, how is it like? How was that?
I was angry a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of road rage. A lot of road rage.
Very, very common symptom of post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury.
I was going to say. And that's the reason I asked that question, is because I wanted to understand the normal.
And that was, that's for me. And I have a lot of buddies that would, saying road rage, get arrested. It's not a good deal.
Yeah, it's different. The mind definitely takes its toll on you.
And the second you're out, and they always say it, the old timers say it a lot, it's like the day you're out, that's it.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna go back. They don't care what schools or wards or where you've been, they don't care.
That's it.
And that's where it's kinda hard to wrap your mind around stuff. You're like, well, I did this and now I'm getting treated, and it's just like shit. So
yeah, like you can't catch up.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten way better. I moved out here to Hesperia last year. November 1st of last year is when I got here. Okay, originally from Huntington Beach, so I still had friends there. A lot of the racing community for Speedway, the flat track racings down in that area, and that's where I grew up at. And they were a big help when I got here, just to hang out and talk and vent and watch some good racing. So
That's perfect. Put him back in his dirt life. So they basically just change your mindset so you could have a little bit of stuff to focus on instead of your head. Yeah.
Anything, you can have everything in the world. You got an empty house, not a lot going on.
Yep.
You don't want to start waking up early, or you don't want to start doing anything, and it gets bad. The
Yeah.
thoughts come in, darkness, and you're just waiting for someone to piss you off.
Can you relate to that too, Danny?
Oh, definitely. Once I got out of the Marine Corps, mainly for me, it was just more of trying to get to know myself, trying to figure out, how to live with the adaptation of living with one eye, and my seizures and all that, and it took me a long time to, to come to my senses and say, hey, you know what, you did get jacked up, and it definitely, like a lot of us never really want to get out, so we're kind of forced out because of our injuries. Unfortunately, mine was mainly more my traumatic brain injury and stuff, and it's just one of those things where I guess what I do now is if I stay static, if I stay home, and like I said, if I stay home, I'll go crazy, man.
Think too much, get inside your own head.
Yeah, and then trying to, I guess for a lot of veterans, it's kind of like you never really get back into society, and that's why I think the majority of us kind of go towards or gravitate towards more veterans,
right?
Like Mitch and
I was just going to
Rob.
say the same thing. You guys are both kind of saying the same thing with different. And Rob's told me it a million times too that the things that he thinks inside his head are not what everybody else thinks.
Right. And,
Correct.
And, having Mitch up in Hesperia where there's not a huge veteran population, Kendra is, out in nowhere, Georgia.
Right, the recipient of that razor right there.
The recipient of the razor. And that was one of her big things, She was basically saying with tears in her eyes that it feels so good to be around veterans again when we did the Warfighter Made open house.
Yep.
Because where she's at, again, people love her. They're caring for her and whatnot, but she can't talk to them the way that she can talk to us.
Yep.
Because they always say, like when you go back from when you coming home from a combat zone, they usually give you like a little, hey, this is your post-deployment talk, right? And one of the things that always stuck out to me was you're going to come home, people are going to come up to you and they're going to be like, oh my God, how was it? They don't care how it was.
Right.
All they want to hear is it was fine or whatever. And then they want to go on to the next question.
Yeah.
But, where your mind's at that moment is, how was it? Well, let me tell you. And then you start telling them, and then you can just kind of start seeing their eyes trail off
Gloss
and everything.
over,
and then actually then that kind of pisses you off because, wait a minute, you just asked me a question.
Yep.
Right. And so.
Well, and you guys are trained to listen and answer.
And for me, that was something that was hard to, come back to, and was almost one of the reasons why I kind of started shutting down and not really talking to anybody other than, veterans.
So even in just a civilian lifestyle, well, I mean, Idiocracy is a good movie because it's so true these days. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's insane how dumb it is.
Yeah.
But
President Camacho. Yeah.
I always tell people, they always say, like, why don't you ask me how my day was? The truth is, I already know how your day was. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have anything biting you all day. If I ask somebody like you what your day was, it's because I want to hear what happened, because there's some sentiment behind what you're talking about. Yeah. Not just, my computer didn't start at work.
Right.
So that societal thing is very, very important to be able to understand when you have the mindset like what you guys do, because I've been hurt a million times and people don't understand what I think, but I'm not anywhere close to the things that you guys have done.
Well, yeah, it's different. People should gravitate towards you because what you've been through and what you're you're doing now that's a story in and of itself. And, don't sell yourself short. Just like Joey D's sitting here and you looked over and be like, oh, I think he's being a little modest. Well, just remember that you were dealt a hand of cards that you probably, if they were all laying face up, you probably wouldn't have reached out and grabbed those cards to put in your hand.
Right.
But as long as you don't fold, you're not going to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I definitely give myself a pat on the back every day because I'm proud of myself and the things I do. I mean, even on Friday, I'm going to, talk to some little kids about, an underprivileged school because I want to make sure that they understand that.
Yep.
And all of this stuff, the reason that I wanted to have a Warfighter Made takeover for Freedom Friday was because I respect all of the people here, the people that we've talked to already, so much because of the same stuff that you guys do.
Well, I give love to everybody that's sitting here right now because the having veterans here supporting us, having family members that supported their veterans.
Yep.
It's
and free pizza.
It's one thing in free pizza. There's one thing which I haven't had any yet.
Me neither. I'm starving.
Which is one thing about the military in general is it's not easy. But it's really a big family organization. And, if you're in the right areas, it is – I mean, the friends that I have that I've made in the military are some of the best friends in the world.
That story that you told me on last time before your last show, you hadn't seen a guy in how many years, and then you saw him from across the country like you hadn't missed a beat?
Oh, my brother Pete from Florida, yeah. Exactly.
You guys have stories like that too?
When I got my leg amputated, I had a buddy come out from Templeton here in California. I haven't seen him for 20 years. Last time I saw him, we graduated high school. And he showed up because he knew what was going on. He's the only one.
Wow.
Page down real quick, Alberto.
That's solid, man.
That one there, yeah. Alberto
this?
Gonzalez. Alberto giving us a shout out. What's up, brother?
That's pretty cool that you guys, while he reads the comments, that's pretty cool that you guys, well, actually, you know what, a question that I wanted to know, and Rob's told me a little bit about this for him. I just asked the question how it was joining society. I fucking hate that statement, but what did you guys learn that prepared you for the shit that you deal with on a daily basis now? Because I've talked to people that have back injuries, non-military men, all these people, just total normal civilians, they wake up and goes, I'm still fucking in a wheelchair. I'm still paralyzed. Every day I wake up, I still have this. Like, what did you guys get taught during your whole tenure to be able to deal with the stuff that you guys deal with now?
I think for me, it's just continue to move, I mean, like I said, I come here. You know what? You really got to find a purpose. After the Marine Corps, like I said, after the Marine Corps, it was kind of like, like I said, I had to find myself, learn about myself, and learn how to live life just with my injuries, right? And people see me and they're like, hey, it looks like there's nothing wrong with you, right? But inside, if you turn me inside out, or you turn any of us inside out, you'll see everything, and I don't know. I mean, that's a really hard question for me to answer.
I just had somebody. No, it's not hard for me. I completely understand it. Whether our audience does or not, I'm not sure. But I had somebody just tell me today because I had a business meeting on the phone, and he said to me, he goes, "You look phenomenal. You look like you could be an actor in a movie. Like your teeth look great. Your eyes aren't tracking sideways and stuff." I go, "Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate the compliment."
Do not go into business with that dude. He is a freaking liar.
But my point is that I didn't hear any of that in my head. All I thought to myself, and I relayed this back to him, I'm still fucked up. Like, I can't see shit. I can barely hear. Like, I'm lucky that I can drive. I'm lucky that I can do all these little things. And I count my blessings every day. The fact that I'm having this call with you makes me super happy. And I appreciate the kind words. But what the fuck do I tell anybody else that asks me those questions? Because they think I look normal, just like what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Kind of to hit on that too. Like, I have my service dog. Lets me know when I'm, about to have a seizure and stuff. And, people look at me like, hey, are you a trainer? And
You work out, you mean?
Well, no. If I'm a trainer for my dog, for
Oh,
my service
gotcha.
dog, and sometimes it's easier.
He does work out. Did you see,
I'm just
you see
saying.
the ass on this guy?
I was just saying, dude. No homo.
When people do ask me about my dog, they ask me, hey, are you the dog's trainer? Sometimes it's easier for me just to say yes, because, so I don't keep getting asked that question. Like, okay, so if I say yes, then they try to go in depth with, okay, so what's wrong with you? What happened to you?
Right.
And I really don't want to go into all of that. I would just rather say yes and continue on with my day.
It's almost like the same people that, have handicap parking plates, They
Well,
park,
Danielle and Emo, she's saying it right there. You can read that comment.
people think that in order to have disability, you must be able to physically see it. Exactly. So, if you park in a handicap parking spot and jump out and you're physically able to walk up, people automatically think that
I had some guy come up to me and literally punch my window, like trying to get at me because I was parking a handicap spot. And I got out and I was like, look, motherfucker, my legs don't work.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And that's, it's a mess. So I'm getting a service dog now, and it was kind of a hard thing for me to overcome. And if it wasn't for Danny and Mac and being with those two, Mac is Danny's service dog.
Fantastic dog, by the way.
For the last 3 years. He's just over there chilling like it's no big deal. He's pretty much a movie star. Baby C ain't got nothing on Mac. Anyways.
You can call him up here. He can give his own shout-outs.
There's some devil dogs he wants to holla at.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have done it because of that stigma of me walking into an area with a service dog and people just looking at me
Can
like.
you guys tell me what the reason is behind the service dog? He said it's because he has seizures.
Medical reasons, yeah.
Yeah. So well, specifically, tell me what the reasons are.
No. No.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, for me, it's, like I said, my dog, Mac lets me know when I'm about to have a seizure, anywhere between 4 to 8 seconds, so that way that tells me, hey, it's time for me to sit down, lay down, so I don't have one and fall.
And he does that with his nose?
He'll basically put his paws up on my chest.
No, he can sense it with his nose.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even know, to be honest with you. He was expensive. I got him from Canine Support Teams, and I mean, honestly, I didn't want a dog at first. I didn't want a dog because I was taking care of myself, trying to learn, trying to take care of me and trying to learn from myself.
Yeah.
And having another responsibility, it's huge, but I'm actually 100% happy that I have him.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't see my life without him.
Yeah.
Just like Rob, he's getting his service dog, and Rob knows what I'm talking about because, yeah, he does. I mean, we kind of have a little joke like he's a shop dog as well. I mean, we let him loose here, and everybody plays with him, which is awesome.
Mac just isn't Danny's service dog. Mac has been my service dog hundreds of times. So the issues that I have is I have
Mike Pascal said dogs can predict the PTSD triggers.
And so that's one thing that my dog is being trained to do. I still suffer from what's called night terrors. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'll have dreams that I'm still in combat. And the issues with my dreams, though, is that I lost somebody in combat, and my dreams revolve around I'm back in it, and this time I'm going to save them.
Yeah.
Right? But
I can imagine it's so hard.
In the end, no matter what happens, nothing ever changes, right? No matter what. If I wake up, nothing changed, right? And so he's supposed to help wake me up out of those. And then PTSD triggers. My PTSD trigger is anger. And if I start getting anxious or anxiety-ridden, I can lash out. So my service dog, Ronan,
love the name,
who's being given to me. Ronan doesn't know it, but Ronan was born to be my service dog. The organization Labs for Liberty out of Utah, we have a relationship with them, and they got Ronan for me. He's a Portuguese. I'm allergic to dogs, so he's a Portuguese water dog. He's hypoallergenic. Me and my homie Narayan call him a Portuguese man of war. and I named him Ronan. And so when I start getting stressed out, Ronan is supposed to
Predict that.
basically come up and divert my attention from my triggers or, whatever the case may be. So now I'm focused on him. I'm touching him, and whatever it was that was affecting me in my environment is now being diverted to him. And I'll be honest, I'm really excited about having something
Dude,
like
I'm excited
that.
for you. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Because I'm sure he knows it, but Danny doesn't realize it, how many times, I've had to rely on Mac to try to get me through something where, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So
yeah, and you may have not even realized that you were being helped by him. Jason Merrill said Labs for Liberty is a really good organization. Do you guys have any of the same like dreams and stuff? Like when I dream, again, clearly I wasn't a Marine, but I still dream that I'm running. I still dream that I'm like jumping. I still dream that I'm doing track and field. Like, do you have dreams like that?
The other night, actually, I had a dream.
Put the mic a little closer.
Put your mic up there.
I had a dream the other night.
A little
I was
closer.
at the house.
A little closer. Look, there you go.
Crazy close.
Yeah, like you're.
Like you're giving it a kiss.
Let me hold it for you.
Yeah. There you go.
And the dream is I put my legs over the bed and stood up
really?
and walked around in the house that I live in now. It was so vivid and so real. When I woke up, I had to touch it. Oh, it's not there, because if I wouldn't have done that, honestly, I would have started trying to walk.
Yeah. So those things happen to me all the time too, and it's just like what I was saying about the other guys that were paralyzed and stuff. Is they wake up and they realize, fuck, this is still me. This is still my normal.
Our vice president Juan Dominguez is a combat wounded triple amputee, and he is a very spiritual person, and has said numerous times, and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he's like, I feel like I was destined to become a triple amputee because ever since my injury, I have never had a dream about having my legs back or having my arm back. And so this is just what was meant for me, and I'm cool with that. This is what it was supposed to be. And, that guy, dude, he taught himself. He used to be, he used to play guitar, and then he lost his hand. And so he was just like, screw this. I'm going to learn how to play drums. I'm going to play the piano. He taught himself how to play the guitar again. And he's in a band called The Resilience. And
Well, that name's cool.
Right? Because, Tim Donnelly is the lead singer. Tim Donnelly is a double leg amputee. And I think he's considered a triple amputee because he has some hand injuries. And I believe one of their guitarists or bassists is a single leg amputee. But The Resilience, I mean, that's what they are, and they're awesome. And it's
Both these guys have some serious resilience too.
To hang out at Warfighter Made, you got to have a little
and thick skin.
And thick skin.
Well, speaking of resilience, then, like, what are you guys up to now?
I'm up to riding.
Yeah.
That's what I'm up to now. As much as I can, get out. Any kind of racing. 450X. That was given to me 3 weeks ago.
December 7th.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I've been riding that as much as possible. The first day.
Those things are killer, man.
I took it out from the house because I live in Hesperia, so I make a right out of my house. I'm in the desert.
Yeah.
But
the dirt life!
Yeah, but you got a school across the street here and a school here. I was hauling down, my leg fell off.
Oh, shit.
It fell off into the street. And I'm like, shit. So I turned around. Bike has a kickstand, so I put the kickstand down, hopped around, got it, shoved it back on. Went out again. It fell off again. So I just threw it by a big Joshua tree out there and went riding. Come back.
Put
it back on the stand, hopped and got it, and put it around my neck because it wouldn't go on. And there was a kid that was stuck in his car. I yelled, "Hey, I'll be back. I'm just right here. I'll go get my truck." But it freaked him out, kind of. He's like, "What was that?"
Leave your leg back there?
I said, "My leg. I couldn't put it on, so I put it around here, and I was trying to steer."
Oh, shit.
And school was getting out. Oh, I look. Yeah, probably a parent's nightmare to me coming down the road. But,
And another rad story, and this story is actually probably one of my favorite stories because, we're all dog people up here. Mitch actually has a amputee dog by the name of Peg Nasty.
Yep, Peg Nasty.
And but
P&R Motorsports.
But Peg Nasty Racing. Yeah, and but so we gifted this motorcycle to him, and he took it out riding, and
Yep, took it out riding, same spot. Again, dumped my leg. I only bring my leg with me until I get it really stitched on there, just in case I do crash and I have to walk somewhere. I'm good to go. So
We got to get you like some overalls for that leg, dude.
Oh no, I got some straps at home.
Yeah, I was
finally,
gonna
strap it
say.
back up on there. But I was riding around the same area. And
Let's get a big ass hose clamp or some duct tape.
yeah, this dog was tied to a tree. That big, huge josh tree. There was a dog in there. I'm like, what the fuck's this guy doing? So I look at her, and it was a little girl, and she's funny as hell. She's brindle, and this wiry hair up on her head. I thought it looked like one of those Chinese ugly dogs, like Ugliest Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked like kind of like that, but she wasn't. So I got her cold. It was wet. Looked for anybody around. There wasn't. So I put her right on the seat and hauled ass home. Put her in the house. Took her to the vet. Everything checked out. No chip. And now she's my dog.
Dude, sweet.
Yep, she's.
That's like what you were talking about, like meant to be.
Yep, she's crazy.
without a doubt,
Hank the Tank.
Hank the Tank.
No, Frank the Tank.
Frank.
That's
Frank.
crazy.
And she's a girl. She loves the name Frank.
But to me, being a dog person, and it was meant to be. Helping Mitch, and it was actually
Yeah, but there was a lot that had to come together for that situation.
But think about this: there was a friend of Mitch's that reached out to us and said, "Hey, I got a buddy. He's a single leg amputee.
Yeah.
He's not in the best place. He, used to be into bikes. He had to sell all of his bikes because of, divorce or whatever the case may be. I'm not asking for anything, but if you know anybody that has a motorcycle, they want to get rid of it, whatever, Mitch is a perfect candidate." Well, as soon as he said that, I look over and we got this dirt bike that our board member gave to us. I was just like, this is a no-brainer. Let's do it.
Dude, sweet.
So we give this motorcycle to Mitch, and Mitch goes out there and saves the life of a dog that was tied to a tree in the middle of nowhere, left to die. And he finds it.
Scooped her right up.
He finds her, names her Frank the Tank. You got a twisted sense of humor, bro. And, so to me, I mean, that's just, that's
an amazing story.
And I love it.
Well, and to go above and beyond that, you like riding motorcycles, you're going to have to come with us cross country.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. So start training. I'm going to start getting ready to go September.
Cool.
And part of Warfighter Made deal is, we're going to help. We'll help you with that. Cover the expenses and stuff for that.
I'm down for anything.
Yeah.
Wherever. Go riding.
Matter of fact, it just so happened that.
Dude, we got to figure out this leg situation. I don't want him to lose his leg in Oregon and then end up in South Carolina and be like, oh, what left it back there?
I was having so much fun. I forgot I didn't even have it there.
I can strap it to the back and good to go.
Actually, you need to affix it to his helmet.
I was gonna say, we gotta have the shark leg.
But Mitch, how things come about, our brother from the regional series, Brian Cannon, races Mini Open, and he's actually one of our competitors because the Danger Ranger we race in Mini Open also, and we're building Rancho California Auto Repair is building Danger Ranger 2.0 for us because George Earl over there put a whooping on Danger Ranger 1.0. You killed it all right. And our buddy Joey at Rancho California Auto Repair got George back out there the next day and actually raced in his race but that was pretty much the end of Danger Ranger, which was donated to us by Absolute Motorsports, the Peter family. And
when you can see a veteran go out there and kill a vehicle like that, that's a good day.
Yeah, and we're really excited for 2.0 because it's going to be an automatic. Danger Ranger was a 5-speed, so it limited the amount of people that we could put in it because not a lot of y'all can drive sticks. So, but now we're making it an automatic, and Dyno Trans is helping us out with that. And but Brian Cannon races Rangers, and he had some Deaver Springs that we needed, and he had some fiberglass, and Brian lives up in Hesperia. Mitch lives in Hesperia. I was like, Brian, can I send this guy over to pick up these parts? He's like, yeah, I'm going to set him outside. And today, that
Dude,
all
the
went
camaraderie
down,
that in
so-
these conversations is just insanely cool.
Well, when you're a good person and you do good things, you tend to attract good people. And, that's who I want to hang out with, and we're blessed that here at Warfighter Made, a lot of the vets bring their families, bring their kids around, I got Nate sitting over here. His dad is an injured soldier who's not here. Right, he can't be here right now. But
Brian Cannon gave shouts out.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate the support, bro.
He gave a shout out on the watch party, but yeah.
And
Steve Barrett said thank you for all you guys do and the sacrifice you give for us.
It was a pleasure, Steve. But having Nate here is now it's an opportunity, whether he decides to join the military or not, which he is talking about joining the military, and but now we get to he grows up seeing what brotherhood and
is all about.
Family and camaraderie and how you can just absolutely destroy somebody by busting their balls, but then turn around and
give them
just
a hug, yeah.
show them the absolute love.
Yep.
I mean, and
that's one thing I was going to wait till the end of the show to talk about it, but like the last couple of days, just me being here, just in your guys' presence and around, I wasn't here all day, but just the few hours that I was here for the last 2 days has like given me a whole new perspective, not just on the things that you guys do, but it's been significant enough for me to understand how to better the things that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Like, and not to get heavy or anything, but I haven't been in a good place. You guys have clearly been through the same shit, and this has given me a little bit of new life to be able to understand what I want to do. It's cool, man.
And just remember, it's, again, Brian Myers, who is a combat wounded triple amputee, said it best. He's like, this is not the hand I would have chosen, but it was the hand that I was dealt.
Yep.
But it's the easiest hand to play because as long as I don't fold, as long as I don't quit,
you have to win.
I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so everybody out there, watching this and all of us here, the important thing to remember is there are people that care.
Yep.
And
all these guys care.
You need to surround yourself. There's this guy over here. I mean, the two of us have been through some stuff together. And
you and Danny?
Danny and I. And I just can't, the amount of times that we've had to lean on one another is pretty significant.
Yep.
But you do that all the time in the military. I don't care if you're in the Army. I don't care if you're a Marine.
You got to sleep sitting up.
Amber was in the Navy. Justin was here a little while ago. He was in the Air Force. Amber's man is in the Coast Guard or is a Coast Guard vet. You learn to rely on other people.
I think that's missing in society is this day, like, period. Like, it's just crazy. Well, so what else we got to talk to these guys about?
So Mitch is out there ripping it up on his dirt bike, saving lives. And
turned my whole house into a garage.
Dude.
So he's sending me videos of his bike that we gifted him in his kitchen.
Actually, I thought it was in his bed.
Well, he does sleep with it. It's a comfort item for him. And then Danny's a mechanic. And what Danny doesn't know how to do, Danny's not afraid to try.
Yeah,
and
figure it out.
Thank God for YouTube. Because we were having some axle seal issues with the 5 ton of fun out there, the TRV, and I was just like, oh my God, how are we gonna do that? And Danny was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on YouTube and see
you figured
what's
it out
up.
on YouTube for a 5 ton of fun?
Yeah.
You know what? It took me a while, but
I can imagine the searches.
After 2 tries, as a matter of fact, the first time. I replaced the steel because it was leaking, right? And I did it. And then I think probably literally 4 days later, we took off to
Salt Lake City or Utah?
Utah.
I mean,
no,
Reno.
Reno. And I was like, oh God, I just, I hope we make it. I hope the tire doesn't fall off, and so we got up there, we got it, we made it perfectly fine, and then we had to come back, and I was like, all right, we made it here, now let's make it home safe, and came back and it held, and then we took it to Utah and then back to Vegas, and
so that thing starts leaking. And the first thing Danny says was, it wasn't that tire. I did the other one.
Oh, shit.
Like, no, bro. No, it was definitely that one. He's like, all right, I'll do it again, whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I have so much fun just coming in and, just seeing, when we do these giveaways and seeing veterans, just seeing that smile on their face, man, to me, it's like, I contributed to that.
It's probably has a feeling like no other.
It is. It really is, and like, how we were talking about earlier about this is the cards you got dealt, well, this is my cards that I got dealt, you know, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't change it for the world,
I'd like to expand on that statement a little bit, though. So you say that there's a hand you got dealt, right? You guys are turning it around so that a lot of the people that you help don't have as hard of a hand to deal with. You're giving them a better hand. Right. So it's pretty bitchin' to see whether you guys feel like you were dealt that hand or not, like what you said. You're still getting a little bit of gratitude from those people and giving back to them.
It's not hard to do kind things.
Not at all.
It really is.
It's harder to do mean things.
Exactly. and it's just I'm lucky to come from a place, be in a position where we get to give back.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I served with the best men and women that America had to offer.
Yep.
Period. The best people that America had to offer. And this is just our little way of giving back.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys would say the same thing, too.
We gave a little to Mitch. Mitch gave back to Frank the Tank, and he's helping us now. And it's just, we got Nate, who's just the son of a injured vet, but he's giving back, and it's important. It's important, and it's easy.
It really is,
and it's fun.
What are some of the to break the seriousness? What are some of the funniest things that you guys can tell me about what's happened with Rob here in the shop? Why I read some of these comments.
I got the moniker Clueless Rob, right?
All right,
hashtag Clueless Rob.
He's not allowed to say it though. You guys have to say it.
So, Rob, like I love Rob. He's actually my shop wife, and so Rob comes out here, so I'm working on something, right? Rob comes out here and he's like, hey, Danny, well, let's do it this way. And I'm like, all right, let's go through this, Rob. So we start doing it his way, and then anyways, when he sees it doesn't work, he just like, okay, I'm done, I'm out of here. And I'm like, all right, just go back, go back to your office, and
I saw him do that once already.
Go back to your office.
Yeah. And then
go back to your office.
I mean, you know what? Being here is just so much fun. It's one thing, like we talk about the camaraderie, and man, like I come here, and I don't get paid, right? I'm 100% volunteer, and man, I wouldn't trade this for the world, honestly. Like I said, working with Rob and working with other veterans that come in, on their own time and just want to help and volunteer, and
yeah, just seeing everything that happens in the shop. Like I won't ever forget this till the day I die. First thing Rob asked me, like I said earlier on the show, how are you feeling today? I felt like, well, you ain't gonna get any sympathy from me. So that's perfect. Like that's it. So I won't ever forget that. Thank you, Tom Land, for the kind words for myself. I can't see her name right there, but she said the camaraderie.
Oh, Chris.
Man.
Chris did.
So thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate it. We're going to have to figure out some different audio equipment so we can get, like, everybody jamming in, like, chiming in. It'll be pretty cool.
Man, I want to pass the microphone around so bad now.
We can pass the microphone right here. They just can't hear it, though.
Ugh.
I didn't have enough connectors. But
horrible.
Maybe one of these days I'll get my shit together, get this show like actually working good.
So we used to like funny things that were said in the shop. We used to write them down on a dry erase board, but we had to erase it because some of them were pretty.
I can only imagine what was on there.
But the running joke always was, if you came in and there was a mess of tools by a vehicle that was Adam Fitza, would never put anything away.
Mm-hmm.
If you went into the toolbox and you pulled out a broken tool, that was Danny. Danny freaking
Danny put it back.
Danny loves to snap tools and then just be like, oh man,
we can still use it later.
Somebody else can do something. So for a while there, I used to have to, like, every Friday morning, I'd have to go through the toolbox, pull all the broken tools out, set them aside just so we can go make a run to get them replaced and everything.
Like when the dog does something bad and you got to like show him what they did wrong. He tore up a pillow. Danny, come here.
Well, you see that? I have 2 spray bottles over there. So when Rob comes out, I spray him in the nose. Get back in your office.
Get back in there. Get back in there.
Like I said, so much fun, man. It's awesome.
There's a couple times I walk out and I'll start messing with something and immediately it goes sideways. It goes completely wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll throw the tools down and I'll be like,
Thanks, bud.
why the hell did you guys let me come out here? So any vets out there or anybody watching, if you know any vets, if you're a vet yourself, you want to be a part of what we got going on here at Warfighter Made, reach out to us. My email address is robert@warfightermade.org. Danny's is danny@warfightermade.org. You can hit us up at info@warfightermade.org. Even if you're not in the area, if you're in Arizona, whatever state you're in, we can probably find a nonprofit that's in your area that deals with vets to, get you, hook you up with somebody just to kind of have the fun that we have here.
Yeah.
So, reach out to us.
I think that's one of the best things. Obviously, all these Razors are cool, off-road vehicles, all the therapy and stuff. I would suggest everybody come out to those events because they're super, super cool. And I've seen some of the stuff that you guys have been doing, but the camaraderie portion of it, I think that's like not just the gateway, but I think that's the real heart of everything that happens.
That's why I keep saying it. The Polaris Razors, they're a hook. They're a hook to get the veterans to come to us.
Yep.
The adapted vehicles are a hook to get the veterans to come to us so we can assess where they're at in their transition from military life to civilian life,
right,
and kind of help guide them. Like I said, our man Ben Failer is a whiz when it comes to the VA. Probably one of the hardest things that most vets complain about is navigating the VA, whether it's getting their disability ratings, getting their post 9/11 GI Bill, getting voc rehab, and Ben has really made it his mission to navigate those waters and then help others. So if anybody has any VA related issues that they need help with, hit up Ben at warfightermade.org. And you can always hit up his social media channel too, SoCal Grumpers.
I'm finding a common theme here. If you need any help, hit somebody up.
It's definitely out there.
You don't have to do it on your own.
Yep.
You don't have to do it on your own.
Dude, we've talked many a times, man. You've helped me a ton of times.
And that's really what it's about. And, if you're not a veteran and you know a veteran that's struggling, the easiest thing to do is just say, hey, what's up? What's going on?
Yep.
Talk to me and listen. And a lot of times it doesn't require any like, oh, well, I think you should do. No. Just listen.
Yeah.
Because sometimes just
or, hey,
getting
bro, you want to go get tacos?
Even better, listening over tacos is, because if they just start whining, then you can just drown them out with the crunch of the taco.
Or give them like some really hot salsa.
but the reality or the truth is, sometimes we just need somebody to talk to that I don't need you to fix anything. I don't need you to give me any recommendations. I just need somebody to listen.
Yep.
And maybe even drop a little sympathy in there every once in a while, just to make me feel like, somebody cares.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's really the easiest thing to do. Mitch, real quick, when you're walking around with shorts on and people are checking out your leg, how would you prefer somebody to walk up to you? You already know kids just come up and they have zero filter, right?
Yep.
But like the adults, I've had adults come up to me and say, hey, that amputee over there, how should I approach them? And I'm always like, well, approach them like they're a normal human being.
Yeah, I get approached, by adults, and they ask about it because they have a leg gone too, and they're wearing pants.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll ask, what kind of prosthetic do you have? What kind of knee do you have? What's this? Where did you get this? How much did this cost? Or where can I go to get help for this?
Yep.
And
What I'm saying is some people have a natural curiosity. And how do you prefer, no one wants to be stared at.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of them staring at you, what would you say to somebody that maybe are one of those creepy starers and want to ask but don't know how to ask?
Just come up like you're going to ask a normal question.
Yeah, one of the best things that I ever got was I was sitting at a gas pump and I didn't the person could see me from afar, like I was limping around and stuff like that. He just goes, "Fuck yeah, you rule." That was it. And I was like, shit. That changed my whole attitude.
Hell yeah.
I was like, this is sweet. Didn't give a shit about asking questions, nothing. Direct to the point. That was it.
I like walking in stores or somewhere, and the little kids are looking at you.
Yeah.
And they're looking, they run into their mom's ass, or they run into a pole, and you can hear the head bonk, like boom.
Yeah.
But they're still looking. It doesn't faze them. And then the mom's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I said, "No, it's fine."
Yeah.
Just tell them, "Hey, eat your vegetables, because this is what happens when you don't."
I've heard so many awesome stories of like, or I've been in the presence of, little kids walking up to guys and just being like, what happened? And the guy be like, this is what happens when you don't listen to your parents,
The kid's going like tortured now.
Or one of the amputees had a Great Dane as a service dog, and the kid would walk up and be like, can I pet him? And he'd be like, no, see what happened to me? And the kid's like, oh, God. So, yeah.
Right on. Well, we're running out of time. Let's button up with the questions with the boys.
Yeah. So what do we got coming up next for off-road races?
Well, we have February 22nd. We have our, pretty sure you guys covered that, but we have our adrenaline therapy Saturday. Can't wait for that.
Glen Helen Raceway?
Nope. Had a little bit of a misunderstanding with Glen Helen.
Oh, that's right. You had switched it to the one in Anza.
We are now using Wrecked Fence Off-Road Park in Anza.
February 22nd.
February 22nd. And anybody who wants to know about the little misunderstanding, I made a video about it when they canceled on us. So that was actually the politically correct version of it. But, we've kind of cut out all that crap now, so we're using the Wrecked Fence.
I'm interested to go see this new place. I want to actually check it out. I don't think I'll be able to do the February one, but after that, I'm so in.
Yeah, it's a cool little. It's basically a backyard built track. It's on.
I wasn't talking about the track. I was talking about the camaraderie that we've been talking about. I just want to.
That's what it's all about.
I just want to fuck with everybody when I get out
that's
there.
That's what it's. Yeah,
as long as you can take it back.
You think you know.
I love it.
You think you know how to fuck with people.
I love it, man.
Oh yeah, it gets real out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
So we got the adrenaline therapies, and then
we have the Mid 400 coming up.
We're going to be participating in the
When's
military challenge. It's
March
3rd to the 8th.
Okay.
Regional series.
The regional, coming up, next month, right?
The end of February is going to be the first race at Glen Helen.
Yeah, so when you say the regional series, the Southern California Lucas Off-Road Regional Series.
That's correct.
So that car might be in it, the one right behind you, the Predator.
Well, that car will definitely be in it. We're not sure who's going to be driving it yet.
Well, that's a good thing. It's ready. All the vehicles are ready to go.
And then Danger Ranger 2.0, Rancho California Auto Repair is creating 2.0 for us.
Be ready by the race.
And that's the intent. And if it's not, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Because if we haven't tested, ideally it would be ready for Adrenaline Therapy Saturday on February 22nd, so we can take it out and do a little testing with it. But if it's not, no harm, no foul.
Shakedown.
We'll do the next regional in March or whatever that date is. Not a big deal. And then what else? April.
Then we have the Baja.
The Mexican 1000.
Mexican 1000.
The Nora.
The Nora, yes.
And we'll be unveiling the Humvee there.
I don't know if how much we can actually see of it, but you can actually see the rear of the Humvee over there. Say hi, guys.
Yeah.
So that Humvee will be out there. They're putting a roll cage and stuff in it. That thing looked really cool, man.
Yeah, our man Costa is helping us out with the cage. So, yeah, and then we finish up the Lucas Oil Regional Series, or basically the summer months is the Lucas Oil Regional Series. We continue with the Adrenaline Therapy Saturdays, but we take the summer months off just because of the heat.
Yep.
And then we're going to be out there with Tac Gas Fuel Your Brand, they're hosting us for an event. They used to do a Shoot It Live, which we'd go up to Hiawatha, Utah, and Tac Gas they had miniguns and armored personnel carriers and helicopters and they had suppliers out there with all kinds of automatic weapons, suppressed shotguns. I mean, it was
Danny's all smiling all hard over there. Woo!
Yeah, it's for a reason.
Stoked on
it. Danny went from shooting at helicopters to shooting out of them. Anyways, but this year they want to do something a little bit different. They're hosting us. We're going to do a Lake Powell trip with houseboats and stuff like that. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
One thing that I remember about Lake Powell is they have tour boats and they make huge wakes. Like you can just get nasty off them on some, like wakeboards and stuff like that. Yeah. My dad took me on the little hot dog or the wiener, whatever it was. I think I might have blew out my appendix on that because he launched me so hard.
You lost a pancreas on that one?
Yeah, something. So talk about having to have thick skin. My dad didn't give a shit.
Yeah. No, I love your dad.
He wanted to send me as high in the air as he could possibly see me go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to lose some our appendix and stuff and our kidneys on the Class 11 that we were on.
Oh, Danny and I got the opportunity.
Suspension gnarly?
Well,
it was gnarly.
we got to race a Class 11, which for those that don't know, it's basically a stock VW Bug. It is absolutely the people's vehicle, dude. It was the raddest thing. We raced it at the Nora 1000, and Danny and I got to drive a section of it. And what you realize is, in a Class 11, your speed is relative to the amount of suspension that you had.
Yeah.
So if you were...
Otherwise, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually George who told me, he's like, listen, George Earl, he's like, listen, if you're hitting stuff and it's hurting you, you're killing the vehicle. So just back off and, you don't hurt yourself, you'll be okay. And so we went out there and, man, we had the time of our lives. I mean, because you're in a stock Beetle, the locals love you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You could have a $800,000 trophy truck drive by, and they're like, yeah, whatever. And all of a sudden, you come by at 30 miles an hour, and they're out of their seats, and they're just losing it. And, it's a pretty good feeling, too.
Would you ever consider doing something like that? You like the dirt bikes, yeah.
Oh, I'll do whatever.
Yeah, Mitch is
down.
We're talking about putting Mitch in this thing, but I'm a little worried that he's going
to kill it.
Yeah.
So a funny story real quick about legs coming off. Cody Elliott, combat wounded amputee.
First of all, you got to give a little bit of laugh just to the conversation.
What?
Just about legs coming off.
Wait, well, so Cody is racing the Predator Desert Buggy in the Lucas Oil Regional Series. And he's killing it, but all of a sudden he slows down in the middle of the track. And
I remember this.
I'm like, oh my God, he blew a belt, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, and he got going again.
And then all of a sudden he got going
Yeah.
again, and I'm yelling at the spotter. I'm like, little Tristan, little hands, little hands. I'm yelling at Tristan. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, hold on, holding these little tiny hold on. Right? And finally, Cody wins his race and comes back in. And I'm like, bro, what happened? And he's like, man, my leg broke suction. So I'm trying to push it into the firewall, and I'm pulling on the steering wheel, trying to get it, and the steering wheel pulled off in my hand.
Oh, dang.
So now I'm trying to stab the steering wheel back on, and finally I got it to a point where I could pull over, reset the steering wheel, and continue on.
My point is that none of these stories are normal.
No,
but this is his normal.
No,
it's fucking awesome, dude.
I think Cody Elliott was the first single leg. I think, was he not? Or
for what?
To be in the short course?
Hell no. No, hell no. We who else did we have out there? We've had a lot. Jesse Williamson went out there before him.
That's right.
He was the first double leg amputee in a manual transmission.
Oh yeah, he killed it.
He killed it too.
That's bitching.
Yeah, no, but we've had a couple people out there, and then all the people that support us with giving rides to vets and stuff like that. It's just, it's awesome. So, but
you guys want to say anything else before we thank your sponsors, thank our sponsors, and
yeah, just thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks for everybody that. Oh, look at James. Kudos to all you guys. Cheers. Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everyone that came out here.
Thanks for everybody who's going to tune in as well on the
podcast.
Yeah, on the archive feeds, iTunes, and everything. Thank you guys.
And just like we were talking about a little while ago, it's not hard to be kind.
Yep.
And I don't treat people how I want to be treated. I'm nice to everybody. Period.
Yep.
It makes no difference. How you respond back to me is what then what you're going to get in return.
Do unto others as they want done to you.
And
as you want done to you.
But check Warfighter Made out at warfightermade.org. If you are a veteran, you heard us talking about Adrenaline Therapy Saturday, ATS.
Yep.
Our man Greg Smith, who's a Marine vet, has done a killer job with our website. And when you click on to warfightermade.org, the homepage, right there, it'll say events. Click on that. You'll find ATS, and you'll find the year that we're in, 20, and the number of the events that we're doing. So the February 22nd will be our first one. So it'll be 20-1. And click into it, read everything, sign the waiver, and or register, sign the waiver, and join us at Adrenaline Therapy, and then hit Warfighter Made up on all of our social medias.
Yeah, you guys are active on social media too. That's really cool.
Warfightermade.org at Warfighter Made on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, and if you guys obviously don't want to remember it, you can look at all of our social media, The Dirt Life Show, and
we're on Twitter too, but it's dead. I don't even know
why Twitter exists.
I know why it exists, so celebrities have a place to voice their opinions.
Or Donald Trump.
Like we care. Who?
So.
Oh no, just joking.
There's a few people that you wanted to thank too.
For us, it's just thanks for everyone that is supporting. I threw out a lot of people that have supported Warfighter Made. Our big partners, as always, is Polaris Razor, BFG, Lucas Oil, Four Wheel Parts. By supporting those companies, it gives them the opportunity to help out more organizations. And we're not just talking about Warfighter Made or veteran organizations. There's a lot of a lot of companies out there that are helping children, animals, so on and so forth. So, we got to give a lot of love to Kicker, PRP Seats, Method Race Wheels, Wire Care. A lot of people probably haven't heard of Wire Care, but if you need anything for wire management in your vehicle, in your home audio system, whatever, check them out, wirecare.com. They've got amazing everything. And
We got to get you a Converse sponsorship too.
Or Vans.
Yeah, one of the two.
I tell you what I don't wear is I don't wear Nike. My wife won't let me bring it into the house anymore.
No?
I don't even care. I really don't even care, but Halima's just like, hell no. I'm like, all right, baby, I'm not going to cross you. You already punched me twice today. I'm not going to get hit third time. I've learned my lesson. So.
Thank you guys very much for inviting us into the studio and having us, Rob. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming out, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it means a lot to me to be able to be part of your guys' crew, so I appreciate that very much. And thanks for coming all the way to Arizona for the show, too.
No, dude, that was important to me, to be like that.
The thing that we didn't get to do, we didn't get to see the cave, though. I still haven't got to see it.
Okay, Mike?
The Colossal Cave in Arizona?
Oh, well, that's your fault. That's you not knowing the schedules of the place that's like 40 minutes from your house. 30
like
minutes.
4 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That's even worse.
I've been blown up a bunch of times. It's not my fault.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add?
Baja Designs, Motorwear International, Proline Wraps, Rugged Radios, Fuel Safe, Fox.
Especially want to give a shout out to Gary Hogley, man. Gary Hogley, you're the man.
Thank you, Gary. We really appreciate it. And
Gary.
thank you so much, everybody, for chiming in. We want to thank all of our sponsors on the show, too. Guys at Shock Therapy, thank you guys very much for supporting us. Since day one, Justin has been a really, really good advocate for us. And you can use the code DIRTLIFE. Go save some sweet cash on all their products. You can save some sweet cash on their ride improvement system. Just give them a call and mention DIRTLIFE. Thank you very much for the Zollinger Racing products. Those guys, I still can't say enough about their products, man. All billet machined, just insane. ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Dirt Life show, or excuse me, the Dirt Life is the code that you guys can use. Thank you very much, Rigid Industries. Love those guys. Love you, Brett. And thank you very much, Solderweld. Lance is going to be on a show February 10th, I think. He's going to come to Tucson and hang out with us. Anything else before we wind down the show?
Again, if you're a veteran, hit us up or find a veteran organization in your area and give them a love and get some love back. And, real talk, if you're a veteran in need, if you're a veteran in crisis, you got to reach out to somebody. Do not go through this alone. And you see it all the time. And those that are still around persevering are here because we have reached out to people. So there ain't no shame in it. Make sure you do it. Thanks to everybody that showed up in the shop.
Yep.
Much love to George Earl, our combat wounded Vietnam vet and off-road racer. Much love to Mitch. Amber is going to be my co-driver. My brothers at Lima Charlie Halmi sitting back there, the two Tongans. Man, I can't believe they even let you guys in the military. Guys always shaving your teeth down, eating fish heads. It's terrible.
It was pretty cool to see everybody show up for the show, man.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody that came out, Craig Scanlon, Joey D, Baby C, everyone who commented. You guys supporting stuff like this is what keeps everything going. So thank you guys very much, and thank you, Georgie,
supporting this little janky show. Everybody's making it happen for us.
For having this little janky show, and much love to your dad for being in your corner all the time. Fat Lopez for always being around.
His nickname is Princess. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, I just changed it to Fat Princess.
He's going on a diet.
Yeah.
Hey, talk to him. Send him a message on social media. He'll love that.
Brian, you look like you're 10 months pregnant. Anyways, yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Please join our social media. Join Rob's social media. Go and see all these guys. Anybody that was on the show tonight, if you want to reach out to Rob, get more information about them, if you want to talk to them directly, stay safe out there. Don't lose your leg when you're riding dirt bikes. Keep it on. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.